Folks, here we are, ready for grand finals of Ladder League, finally, after a month and a half, after 50-ish matches, we are finally going to be able to see who is going to take the top prize here in our second annual Ladder League. I'm here with P53. How you feeling?
I think this is going to be a pretty good match, hopefully. I think this is definitely one of the better matchups that could have happened, so I'm pretty excited for this.
Oh, certainly. I mean, on the top bracket, we have WIISUPER making his way through honestly, a very, very strange set of matches. Of course, being able to compete against Dragon, which I'm sure is something he was looking for due to Elim 1, we've all talked about it. And the upset that was there with Frost. On the bottom half of that quarterfinals bracket, an incredibly exciting match. Honestly, probably the best we've seen so far with WIISUPER versus Senor. And then able to power through, taking a 221-48 against Dragon, putting him ready for grand finals, but has to face Jared now.
Yeah, and looking at the bottom half of the bracket, it's an even more interesting story, I would say. Jared put up a pretty good performance initially in the first quarterfinals match he had against Laser with the 221-29, easily competitive with the times Justin was putting up. But then semis 2 happened. And that, I think, might be one of the matches, of the decade in terms of what happened there. Harazmi almost upsetting Jared in that match, but somehow at the last minute, Jared was able to take it through one of the most unfortunate losses in Bestman I think we've ever seen. So, yeah, who knows what's going to happen? Will Jared be able to regain his composure and take the match against WIISUPER? Will WIISUPER be able to maintain the consistency he's seen, at least so far in this top 8 bracket? I don't know.
I don't know. You don't know. We haven't competed in these tournaments, so let's see what some winners have to say real quick. What is it like to play in the grand finals?
It's exhilarating.
It's sort of a feeling like no other.
You block out everything else in your life and focus more than you ever have before.
To me, winning a tournament is one of the biggest accomplishments you can achieve in this game.
It cements you into TCS history.
Anyone can get world record. Only the best can prove themselves against each other.
How does it feel to lose a tournament?
It feels like everything you have built up has just been wiped away.
Jared is one of the most mechanically sound players I've ever seen.
There is a world where Jared can be on world record pace out of episode 4 in a grand final.
He's lightning fast. His early games are incredibly threatening.
Justin plays extremely well from behind, and you can never count him out.
Justin's experience outclasses anyone else.
going into this match, do you see a favorite?
You'd have to call Justin the favorite at this point.
The favorite has to be Justin.
Justin's consistency in his top 8 matches has proved why he's the one to beat.
And he hasn't looked shaky at any point during this top 8.
Justin has also not proved that he can win a grand final.
He'll play it risky if needed. If he needs a big comeback, his riskiness might be his demise.
What does winning a tournament mean to you?
What does winning a tournament mean to me? It means
Everything.
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 Alright, folks. That was cinema. And that is, I think, the appropriate amount of hype for getting in here with this match. So we'll wait for the runners to start. I believe their countdown is currently on the way. So all we got to do now is see when they'll be starting. But yeah, this is going to be an exciting match. I mean, like, both of these runners certainly have a history of grand finals, right? Jared competing in grand finals in 2024, of course. Not able to make it through there, so this is going to be a second try at grand finals, a second try at taking, the final prize here. And I think they are off into negotiation. So yeah. Jared, I mean,
Yeah. So I think one thing to take a look at with these two runners is look how close their BPTs are. It is a 16-second BPT gap. Probably one of the closest BPTs we could probably get for this finals race here. Yeah, this is really a 50-50, I think, and as was sort of hinted at in the hype video, I guess, I think the favorite here probably is Justin by a little bit, mainly because he has been playing really well in this top 8 bracket. Jared, of course, in the most recent semifinals, I would say probably had a race that he wasn't too pleased with, and in fact almost lost to Harasmi. And that race, I think, basically this race is going to come down to, will Jared be able to collect himself and pull himself back together, I guess, compared to last week.
yeah, it's going to be a tough one. I mean, to be fair, Justin has also not had a great performance at the start of the event anyway. Right?
Yeah, that is true.
He is seed 5. He should not have been seed 5. According to his performance, especially recently, he should be seed 2 or 3. But I think his consistency's been able to come back. His mental. Certainly, I think the race. He's more comfortable in the race setting. Well, Jared has not been able to pull that back. Been able to pull the mentality back of maintaining consistency, especially in the late game. As we saw, with the Harasmi run, which ended for sort of different reasons. But we'll see here. Exiting negotiations. I think both of them having a little bit of trouble avoiding studs.
Yeah, I mean, I think, honestly, pretty standard for a race, basically within 2 seconds there. Jared, I think, honestly, probably is going to get off to the better start. And that certainly is what he's hoping for, because the danger, I think, for WIISUPER is that Jared can get these really great early game paces. And if WIISUPER is behind by a significant amount after episode 4, it's going to be really tricky to play that game at that point, though we have seen, plenty of changes in episode 6.
Yeah, but on the other end, I mean, right now, at least, going off of the channel point predictions, Jared is behind in bits, right? As we all know, prediction markets are always correct. So this is not, I think, not what Jared wants to be seeing. But no, in reality, Jared needs to be exiting episode 4 with some sort of lead.
Yeah, in fact,
to be able to have any chance, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that. And actually, because the BPTs are so close, let's look at the predictions right now, actually. It is, most of the time we don't show, the odds before pod race, because pod race can dramatically change the win probability. But because the BPT is so close right now, I mean, I think I'm expecting a pretty dead even, thing. And yeah, a slight favor to Jared there off of BPT. Like, to be honest, it's pretty close to 50-50, and that's what I would expect, to be honest.
And it's close to 50. Jared having a little bit of trouble there with the menuing. But I think it's going to be interesting to see how that evolves. Again, one of the key problems that we have here with Jared is his consistency. So certainly his BPT is faster, right? That's undeniable. But is he able to play closer to that BPT than Justin? And I think his problem is not that generally he can't, but that he is simply just more likely to be, have one or two really, really bad splits. And that's that in a run like this where it's two super top players, that's going to be kind of what seals the deal.
Yeah, that was a very odd miss for a log jump there from WIISUPER. That's not a trick that you typically see runners fail, I guess, at this level. So, yeah, it's going to be really important to see which runner gets the early game momentum, I think, because, and probably that's going to get determined by pod race, but, with that log jump miss, you never know.
You never know, but at the same time, if I had to choose a runner, who could take that sort of early miss better, take the punch and then just keep going, I'd pick Justin, and it is not a big miss. It's going to be, you see it there, a 10-second time loss for Justin, so nothing too crazy here. Weird thing to miss, but not a huge deal going into Escape from Naboo. But yeah, as we're cutting through here, I'm curious what your predictions are for episode 1. Have you seen a lot of? Do you think either of these runners are going to be able to get through the pod race gauntlet without issue?
Well, I did see Justin practicing it just before the match. I don't know about Jared. Jared was actually, I think, in Endor before this match.
Oh, really?
Well, so both of them, warming up the tricky levels of the run. Pod race is a level, I think, that you really, at this point, I can't really predict what's going to happen there. Because, obviously, in practice versus a real run, it's just a completely different game with the nerves, And so I don't think we're going to get 2 perfect pod races here. For the sake of the match, I hope we get 2 perfect pod races.
I certainly hope so. It is interesting how much Godtrot has kind of changed everything, in the sense that, we had pod fraud misses in Ladder League 2024, but there was a period of time where pod race was pretty chill. And now it's become such a strange dynamic of, before it was either you get it, maybe you get it with a little trouble, or you just, completely have to reset. But now there's just so much variability in pod race that we're going to see. Of course, not really here. We get ground shots, but...
The other rather interesting thing, I would say, is the approach these runners have taken to preparing before this match. I would say probably both Jared and Justin. Jared, of course, hasn't played too many matches in this tournament because he qualified earlier. And Justin actually is right now in the middle of his Minecraft month. Actually, where he's not even playing TCS, he's playing Minecraft. Both of them, I think, have taken a more casual approach to the top 8. For Justin, it's sort of been paying off, Sometimes, with runners that have played for so long, the practice may or may not, actually do that much of a difference, when you do it at the last minute here. But it is going to be interesting to see whether, I guess, Justin's Minecraft streams, or maybe even Jared not doing as much, doing full attempts right now, how that will affect the outcome of this race.
But hey, who knows? Maybe we'll get some of Justin's new international viewers here in chat. Certainly hoping. Anyway, Jared going to be exiting. Justin following close behind. Nothing too crazy, both of them. Getting everything they need to do, getting the cutscene skips. Going into pod race.
Yeah, I think just looking at that delta there, obviously in Invasion, because of the log jump miss, WIISUPER did take a bit of time loss. Right now it is looking like a 12-second difference, which is actually pretty big, though again, it's the Invasion, I think, was a big aspect of it.
And here is where it's really going to start mattering, though. This is where, things could happen. I mean, we've seen, not that it was the biggest miss, but we saw what happened, what was it, 2-minute time loss for Frost.
Yeah, I think everyone, Justin, has had pod race disasters also, and the really bad thing here is that I would say in other races, like a pod race disaster, you can recover from it. The problem is these two runners are just so close to each other skill-wise that the 2-minute difference might actually be a death blow. You know, it really is dangerous, I think, for either of these two to have a significant pod race disaster. Certainly resetting the level will cause, that will completely change the dynamic of this race. So I think the only thing we can do now is just see what happens here. Is Jared about to be getting into lap 1 here in just a second? Yeah. Let's see how Jared's clip goes. And that is a good first clip for Jared and a decent height boost. If he does the rest of this correctly, he should get a good lap 1.
And Justin here going for the clip. Getting the good clip. Getting a very solid height boost. So both runners are going to be happy here with the start of Godfraud. There we go.
Oh. Yeah, Jared just stopping just in time there. So that he can get lap 2 there. Now let's see, does Justin have extra speed there?
Justin has a lot of extra speed. He's going to be able to make
Alright,
it.
that's
so
good. That's
both
fine.
of them are starting off pretty happy.
Alright, yeah, this is a good start for both of them.
Obviously, the more relaxing.
That's a weird camera for Jared. I don't like to see that. Oh no.
Jared has to reset into pod race. What a disaster. Justin not having to do that. Hopefully Jared is able to maintain this. That's going to be a multi-minute time win for Justin. Early game, exactly where Jared should be able to make his time back.
And it can get even bigger if Justin hits lap 3 here. Because so far, let's see. That... actually, no. Yeah, that looked a little late to me. So yeah, Justin is not going to be able to get lap 3. Jared is significantly behind, but if he does get a perfect pod race after that, he can at least make some of the time back.
But Justin doesn't, Justin simply does not need lap 3 after all that. That is going to be devastating for Jared. And as I mentioned, Jared is a runner who excels in the early game, so going into episode 4, especially with such a time loss, is going to be devastating. We'll have to see what happens.
And it's not really just the time loss. I think the real factor here is the mental game. You already know you're going to be down by a significant amount against, probably one of the toughest opponents you've had in this entire tournament.
Yeah, and an opponent who does not relent, who's able to maintain quality throughout the whole match. Okay, Jared. What? Okay, hold on, wait.
Okay,
Justin has messed up the lap 3.
Yeah, so he lost the race here. Oh, what is going on
Justin
here?
losing the race in lap 3. You're gonna have to do lap 3 again. I think he might have just missed a checkpoint on the lap 3 pod fraud out of bounds.
We've seen this happen, actually, to other people at this point.
We have.
A lot of strange losses on lap 3, but this is gonna give Jared a big opportunity to catch back up here. I think if Jared is able to get lap 3 perfectly, we're going to be seeing a much closer delta than I think any of us ever expected.
Yeah, episode 1 pod sprint out of time, coming back clutch. I doubt that Justin's going to go for lap 3 again. I mean, he doesn't need it to stay ahead, and he just saw what happens if he misses it.
It's really odd. I've never that has happened way more than I think I've ever seen it.
Jared getting lap 3 skip, or at least getting that. Oh, Justin goes there again. I swear, if we get a double.
No,
out of time,
I think that's just a fluke for him.
I mean,
like
yeah,
that's
it'd
the
be
bump.
funny.
That's
Okay,
fine. Yeah.
there we go. Closing out, Justin closing out. Oh, they're getting stuck on a rock there for a second. Gonna be able to make it past. Ending out that bozo pod race there.
You know,
We'll see what the final times are.
You know, it's funny. I said I hope they both had a good pod race. Yeah, 2 seconds.
delta.
Oh god, you peeked it.
Oh my god, bro.
2 seconds. Well,
This is a joke.
Well, that's the
That's
fun.
so good.
That's the fun thing with pod race. You know, pod race is now like a set of puzzle pieces. You can really go and assemble them into whatever combination you want.
That's what I was saying.
And at the end of the day, you know, those time losses and those time gains, they just all even out. Somehow, with Jared resetting the level like in the middle of pod race, they're 2 seconds apart.
Yeah. I guess, you know, I wonder if the other ones know. You know, like, I wonder, because if Jared doesn't know about this, Jared's mental must be in the trash right now.
Yeah.
But Justin is in the same situation, because no one sees out of time.
So
cutscene.
I know Justin does periodically check in on the race.
Okay.
Jared probably does also, but they might not check immediately. They'll probably
Yeah.
check at the end of the episode, I imagine. Yeah, who knows how their mental is right now? I think either of them just think they've thrown, like, massively. And when they see these deltas, they're going to be just as surprised as we were watching that race.
And we're going into retake, which is not a trivial level. Certainly a level where, you know, bad mental could affect you as well.
Right, we've seen some pretty big disasters on this level. Yeah, I mean, left side, we've seen, like, speed 2 misses even. So, and, you know, these runners, you know, they've been doing this level for a while, but, like, with that kind of start, I really don't know how these runners are going to play for the rest of the match. It's a very...
Justin gets a clean speeder skip there. Jared going for speeder skip. Not as clean, but he makes it in the end.
Yeah, I mean, Justin, I think, probably a better opening than Jared there, but it's really going to come down to this button room, whether or not all the characters will, you know, get on the buttons correctly, which it does for WIISUPER there. Very nice. The thing you don't want is for one of the droids to block one of the buttons and stop your AI characters from moving on there. So both of them getting through there just fine. And as Zach has also pointed out, somehow in that weird combination, even though both runners attempted all strats, none of them saved time to a casual pod race.
That's right.
Like, what is Justin's pod race? That is like a... Oh, God.
It's
A
like
440.
Yeah.
A 440, you can get like a 430 or like lower, I think, with like casual pod race. So like, yeah, this is. I don't think I've ever seen that start ever. Like that's a fascinating start.
Crazy start. Justin having a very clean left side. Jared missing the jump. Gonna have to
Actually falling
drop
off with
twice
the yeah.
apparently. So gonna having a decent amount of trouble on the left side. Gonna lose like 10 seconds there.
Yeah, it does look like just from the initial gameplay that Jared is playing a little bit worse than Justin as a result of that. But I think once they see the deltas between them after this, I think they'll both be a little bit more confident in each other.
Justin, like touching the floor there. That's
very
really
close to
close.
the floor there.
I mean, not that it matters. It's, but I mean, it's Speak 2. Yeah. Nothing too crazy going on
I
here.
think both will be going for the new hanger strat here. Yeah, but otherwise, some minor mistakes I think can feed for Jared. So far, unless something... Did you just force one of the, like, chairs or something?
I don't know. He's trying to get the extra stud so he can buy, I don't know, disguises or something.
Alright, here comes swappy strats here. Not typically something you see runners miss at this point in the game, but yeah, it's looking pretty good for Justin there. Nice, clean set of camera pan skips there.
Justin shooting a bit blindly. That was...
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Justin is not doing the new strategy here. Jared might be able to save some time here if he is able to get the new strategy.
Yeah, Jared does seem... Yeah, Jared is going to be going for the new strategy. So hopefully if he's able to get the force in.
Right, so...
Oh, he
Oh, no,
okay,
he targeted
he
the
got
right
it.
one. He's
Yeah,
fine.
he got it.
He's
Okay.
fine. Yeah, as long as you are able to start forcing that chip and spamming force, then you'll be able to keep movement there.
Yeah, so that should be closing it out, making back some time after mostly the
Actually,
left side.
Jared's ahead.
Oh, wow.
Does the end strat save that much time?
Apparently it does.
Well, yeah, somehow, even though it seems like Jared, I mean, at least I saw more visible mistakes, I guess, but coming out on top after loads are removed. And, you know, I guess Jared is fulfilling what he wanted. He is ahead of Justin so far in this episode.
Yeah.
But I think he definitely wanted more than a 2-second lead over Justin in this in the 5th level here.
Yeah, definitely going to be one of those classic Delta looks good, but the absolute time is not for Jared and Justin.
Oh, apparently Seed said Justin missed lead 2, which I guess we didn't catch that, but that would explain why his feed was way worse.
Certainly.
All right. So lamp jump, easily each miss could be 2 seconds. So just by one missed lamp jump, we'll see the lead change. So here comes WIISUPER on the lamp jump. That is going to be successful.
Gets it first try.
Here's the lamp jump tutorial maker, Jared doing it. He also gets it first try.
Gets it faster too, so I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Jared able to keep the cart throughout the whole route, so that's going to win him the game probably. So that's exciting to see.
Justin not taking the death there. Both of them have healthy heart counts there, so that's good to see. No one's going to be taking a death up there on the top section. And here we are into DM3. Yeah, so I guess this would be the time for those who just tuned into this race. A very odd set of circumstances happened on Pod Race. Both got lap 1. But then Jared, some disaster happened on his lap 2. He had to reset his race. So Justin was ahead then. But then Justin missed lap 3 skip, goes to the end, fails the final out of bounds on the end of lap 3, and ends up losing the race. So Jared, who has now restarted the level, now gets the tricks. And somehow after all of this balanced out, Justin was ahead by 2 seconds.
Which, to be fair, that was like a 15-second time save for Justin, because he was
Correct,
behind.
because he was behind by 12 seconds exiting escape. So, yeah, Jared did lose a lot of time there, but like in terms of how even the race is.
Yeah, over here, nothing too crazy to note. Gonna be, of course, checking out the cycle skip, so we'll be seeing how those go. Looking pretty clean on the vertical kills there.
Yeah. I mean, this is, I think, one of the Jared specialty levels. You know, Maul is... Oh, I think, yeah, that's the intentional death there.
Yes. So, I mean, yeah, we'll see what happens here, but it's going to be kind of a... I don't want to say a joke episode 1, but certainly an entertaining episode 1. Fortunately, not in a way that's going to greatly punish either runner. But again, it's if they know, right? If they don't know, it's going to be a problem.
So that looks like a 1 cycle skip for Justin and 1 for Jared. So that's pretty even, I would say, coming out of Maul. I mean, here's my question to you, I guess, now that episode 1 is done. Who do you actually want to win this race?
It's a really loaded question. I'll tell you this. I think Justin... Okay. Harass should have won semis. Is I guess the way I'll put it.
Okay.
And I guess you can extrapolate what that means for who I think should be winning here.
Okay, I see. So,
but certainly I think both of them can win. But I think Justin has put up better performances overall, and I think he should win.
yeah.
I don't know if you feel the same.
It's very odd. So both of these runners, I mean, as the intro video pointed out, they've both been to grand finals in a tournament before, but they have all never won a tournament before. Justin, of course, you know, famously losing to Senor, and I think losing in another one as well. And Jared, of course, losing to Evan last year in tournament. And honestly, if people have not seen last year's grand finals, that's another very odd race indeed. And honestly, I think the Jared races in general, something weird always ends up happening. Like,
Yeah.
you never know what's going to happen. Sometimes the weird thing happens to Jared, sometimes the weird thing happens to the other person, as was the case in the Jared harass me race.
Mm-hmm.
I think, honestly, Justin has been searching for this win for a while. My bias is towards him, obviously. But if Jared were to win, I think that means that the universe has intended it to be that way, in a sense.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. And, like, again, Jared, was world record holder until less than a month ago. So, like, he is certainly capable. He's certainly a great runner. Certainly, it would not be a surprise. It would not be unfair if he won. But yeah, exiting episode 1 with a 4-second delta.
They're basically synced on RTA, like in the cutscene.
Yeah, synced on RTA. So this is, not good, not bad for either runner. Certainly, Jared is hoping to be a little more ahead right now, as you said, especially with his experience with Maul.
Yeah,
but not the end of the world, certainly.
None of these people would be continuing 21 episode 1s, I think, in attempts, most likely.
That's right.
But I think if either of them checked their deltas right now, they're both going to be really surprised. Like,
yeah. And after all that, there are 4 seconds of difference. I think, going into BHP. Certainly Jared, I think.
It is
a little more time here as well.
We get to see the unique Justin Wiggly keyboard movement, which is really becoming like a lost species these days when it comes to these vehicle levels.
Let's take a look at this first room. Justin having a little trouble killing that last tower. Not gonna be a huge deal. Both of them hitting the lights without much problem. Now going for the torpedoes. Justin misses one torpedo. That's going to lose him a fair amount of time. So that's going to be a decent time save there for Jared. Probably like 5-6 seconds. And now as they continue going into the second room, this is what you expect. Jared is good at this at the movement here.
Yeah, the lines in this room are very non-intuitive, I would say. Like, the camera doesn't help things at all here. Yeah, there's the little time to gain, but really I would say the big time losses are going to be in these light rooms here. And so far, Jared is playing a little bit better, I think. Probably, in this BHP so far.
That is right. Jared now going into the second light room. Justin moments behind. We will see how the second light room goes. Light, never a problem. Against all the turrets. Now going to try to go for the rear lights. Jared hits the left. Jared hits the right. Justin hits the left. Justin hits the right. Good torpedo movement on Jared. One of those took a bit longer than expected.
Only has 2 torpedoes there. He's going to have to skip the middle one, but he knows about that, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do not need to blow that one up. That one blow up is not wired up correctly.
So that is going to be actually pretty good for Justin. Both of them having right about the same amount of time loss. Or I guess, their same performance going into this last blaster section. Going to be closing it out with a 10-second time, a 10-second delta in Jared's favor, making up an extra 6 seconds over the previous split. About what we expected here.
Yeah, the light room does that, slightly worse than like most of the other levels. And I just want to point out the BPT difference. Look at this BPT difference.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting to think that Jared is improving his delta, but losing BPT, and it speaks to Jared's performance in the early game. Traditionally, very good early game runner. Traditionally, going to have better golds.
Right, exactly.
But the fact that his BPT is starting to drop might not be a good sign for him, because it means that he is not making the time in the places he needs. And he's going to have trouble making that time back in the places where Justin has an edge, which is episode 5, which is episode 6.
Right, yeah. That is a Camino R4 fly miss from Jared. So that might just bring it back even here, to be honest. Or within, just a couple of seconds there. Look at this. The RT is synced up back again with that R4 fly miss from Jared.
Yeah, now going to be going into Camino button skip here. Should not be too much trouble for either runner. Of course, a lot of permutations that can happen. Jared forcing those lights. So gonna get that extra heart. Good to have extra health.
Yeah, it is interesting because of the keyboard setup that they basically flip which character does what on this because of Justin's controls.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see the perfect mirrors here. Justin looks like he gets the respawn, and Jared is also going to be getting the respawn there. And yeah, this is looking like a good Camino button skip for both of them.
Unless, yeah, certainly about what they both want. The R4 fly loss means Justin pulls out ahead a little bit, and you can see it in the RTA.
Yeah. Here's a question. What do you think will be the decisive episode? I would say the decisive episode in the last race with Jared for Harasme really was episode 6. That was when the momentum turned around. Like, we've seen how the momentum really doesn't... Like, early game momentum that isn't necessarily, like, causing you to guarantee to win the race, these days. What episode do you think it's going to be in this race that's going to really determine the winner here?
I think it's episode 4, and it's not because I think anything crazy is gonna happen. Although, I mean, we have seen crazy things happen, especially with Justin in episode 4 in this tournament.
Right. Yeah.
But because I think episode 4 is, again, it's gonna determine if Jared pulls the lead he needs to survive episode 5. You know what I mean? If Jared's able to exit episode 4 a minute ahead, I feel happy. If I were Jared, right?
Yeah.
That means that Jared has, has time lost for Justin to do, to do CCT fast.
Yeah, and I think Justin is not the sort of person to basically make the GTF mistake that happened in the last race. Mm-hmm. Also, which, I think he's going to play the endgame, faster, so I think the endgame is probably more favored towards Justin here, but, 4 I think is a good call.
Both runners, by the way, getting the out of bounds, going to the Boba fight with no issue.
Yeah, basically, other than the R4-5 miss from Jared, I did not catch the number of droids they killed, but I'm sure they know the patterns here. This is, pretty reasonable, but I think we're going to see the gap close perhaps a little bit just from the R4 fly miss from Jared. Justin missing some of the slashes there is going to lose a bit of time just to not killing Django as fast as he could have. And, who knows what it's going to be now. Because actually, I don't know how much he lost off of that.
Yeah, as Dr. Holmes notes, Jared played this very well, other than the R2 skip, which is going to give him a 11-second... time save, giving him 1 more second over Justin. Probably could have pulled considerably more without R4 fly skip. But not a huge deal. Able to make it up. Again, early game runner, clean, has fantastic mechanical execution of tricks. And I think going to Droid Factory, we expect to see that lead extend a little bit. Of course, Droid Factory, a lot of things can happen. I think at this point most runners know how to avoid all the worst things, but
yeah, none of them I think are doing they're not doing the one really risky strat in Droid Factory, I don't think. So I don't think we're going to expect to see too much weirdness here. We have seen both of these runners make some interesting Droid Factory mistakes though. Looking at the Camino, it does look like Jared has actually expanded his lead by 1 second.
Yeah, so that's what he wants to see. Maybe not to the amount he wants to see though.
Yeah. So even though Justin got the R4 fly, I think Jared just played well the rest of the level. And just still able to make up some time. Yeah. Here's the thing though. There is a chance of a soft lock in this level, obviously, but I don't think any of them had a really weird Camino last room. So hopefully they're out of the danger range there. But yeah, usually, like, I think you have to wait, like, a decent... Like, you have to lose a lot of time on Camino Clip to potentially get a soft lock on this level. So, let's hope none of this happens. So, there you go. First room here. Standardized strats for all. 3 hearts for Jared there. That's fine. He's going to be able to take 1 hit from the Droidicas here. Full hearts for Justin.
It takes 1. Gonna be able to avoid that last one.
Yep, that's good for him. Just an immediate glitch shot there. Will he avoid the death? Yes.
Oh yeah, that's
he
really
will.
clean.
Good. Dead even here. And here we're going to see the first soft lock potential here on this bucket. It's not really a soft lock because there's a backup strategy now. This bucket can despawn if you just get the very unlucky, I guess, level setup number here. And the bucket spawned in, so that's the first one out of the way for both of these runners.
Jared going for the 1P2C. Both runners. Out of curiosity, what's the reason most of these runners don't go for pixel? Okay.
Oh, that is a weird mistake for Justin. They're forcing R2 off the ledge. They're going to be losing a bit of time, and you see he now needs to wait on Anakin for this bucket cycle. Yeah, this is the other soft lock position here. For those who don't know, it is on these Droid Factory spinners. Sometimes they will not be forcible, so you can't move C-3PO to the other side of the room.
And sometimes, I mean, we get the dumb mistake of people just force C-3PO into the lava.
Yeah, they'll, again, this looks fine here. This has only, I think, happened a couple of times in Ladder League, all from last year. So, yeah, as for why they don't do the pixel bucket strategy, I think it's just one of those tricks that the time save versus, like, the risk reward. You do need a refresh rate change also. Like, you know, it's just not one of those strategies that, like, saves. It's one of the modern strategies, like 7, you know, like, it's,
Makes sense, yeah.
That's what it is here.
Final part of, I guess, any major time save, this last section with the Droidicas.
Yeah, you want to get the drop in there, so yeah, Jared gets the C-3PO drop in there.
Justin killing 1, so it might give him a bit of an easier path.
Yeah, that's... So, Jared is probably going to be saving even more time here just from Justin's, like, bad R2 death.
Killing
there.
R2-D2, yeah.
So, honestly, Jared is building up a little bit of a lead here.
Yeah, I mean, certainly I think the pillars might... Oh, maybe not as much as I would have expected, honestly. Only saving 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Well, that's fair. I mean, I think Justin did play it a little bit cleaner, especially with that last Reticador. Going to the pillars, of course, this is where I think you're going to see a little more variability and how quickly you're able to take those shields down.
Yeah, I think so. With this level, you know, I think for the actual waves, both of them know how to play the waves. The times is probably going to come down to pillars here, unless they really lose a droid in the random section of this level.
In the crowd.
Yeah, in the crowd. And to clarify for the Droid Factory bucket thing, you don't need the refresh rate change, but I think some people prefer it. It really affects... I guess it really affects the slide up the slope, and there's like there's not really any point of getting into the details here, but the short answer is it doesn't take enough time.
That is it.
That's the short answer to it. Though I'm sure there are people that go for it, just not the people in this race. So let's see that first pillar there from Justin.
Pretty clean. Didn't even have to move Mace Windu.
So it's pretty quick work on the supers there. The Droidicas are both still alive there, so he's going to have to disable the shields first, and then he gets it there.
Has to kill them with a slash.
Yeah.
Which is not ideal. Ooh, getting I don't know how to shield one down. Well, Justin getting a slightly better second pillar.
Yeah, it's kind of a wash so far, I think.
And then on the third pillar, Jared had a Droidica left over there on the left. Gonna have a little bit of trouble killing it. Justin beating the shields to death with Padme, but otherwise gonna be, I think, a slightly cleaner pillar.
this is I don't think they killed like an abnormal amount of so these should be standard patterns.
Yeah, I think Justin had a bit of an unfortunate path the droid took, but
Yeah.
that's not a huge deal either.
Yeah, so far, I'd say Jared is the one with the better episode 2 so far.
Yeah, and I mean that's what you expect, right? I think I don't. Oh, that I don't notice how that Jedi blocked up Justin. Also, Justin having trouble finding the supers.
Yeah,
Oh, they're all grouped together, beefing with I don't know what his name is, but rando Jedi in the back.
Yeah.
This is a really bad third cycle or second cycle.
Yeah, I think we should expect Jared to save a little bit more time here. Yeah, definitely what Jared wants to do there. So, at least I think both of them have recovered from the weird episode 1. Justin probably you would expect to save a bit of time back in Gunship, and it's probably going to Jared save a little bit more time in Dooku here. Yeah, Jared is probably one of the best episode 2 players, so an expected performance for him.
Certainly, and yeah, there you're going to see Jared's lead expand considerably to 23 seconds, and notably, you also see the BPT expand a lot.
Yeah, because Justin is not a bad Jedi battle player.
No.
So that's what I will say. So, yeah, that Jedi battle I think was probably not pretty bad for Justin's standards here.
Yeah, now going for the barrier clips, which we've had a weird amount of second barrier skip disasters in this event. I don't know if you agree.
It's very odd actually. Yeah, it's people just not being able to hit the trigger. We'll see right here. Of course, they're going to do 2 different strats because Justin's going to do the faster, but typically only the keyboard players go for that strat quick flip, I guess. And Jared doing the bigger flip over this slightly slower, but more consistent.
Yeah, both having no issue with first barrier skip. Jared hitting second. Justin gets it. No issue there, so that's what they want to see. So that's going to be a little bit of time to... Phantom, did they both miss God Fraud? That is... I would say it's a little worse than that. Jared had to reset because he got stuck going backwards in Pod Fraud proper. But then Justin, I believe he missed the trigger on the lap 3 out of bounds, ended up losing the race to Sebulba, so then had to do episode 3 again.
Yeah.
So they ended up coming out basically neutral, Justin getting 15 seconds off of Jared, even though Jared had to restart the level.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, otherwise here, final section, nothing too, too notable.
Yeah, this is the very standard gunship for both of them. It is interesting that Justin doesn't call both players in at the end, I guess. Which I think almost everyone else does except for him.
Yeah.
But
now, going to be going, of course, into Dooku. Nothing too crazy to be afraid of, I don't think. I guess could miss Dooku skip, but I think this is going to be, pretty indicative of the sort of race we're going to see. Justin able to get a little bit off of Jared there. Now
actually
down to 17
Actually,
seconds.
way more considering how short gunship is on the level. It's 23 seconds out of Jedi battle, and now it's dipped into a 17-second difference.
Yeah.
That just shows you how good Justin is at that level. No one else plays a level like him.
Same with the BPT difference, closes a little bit. As long as Justin hits Dooku skip here, I think we're gonna, this is gonna be pretty close to how they're gonna finish episode 2. So, I mean, about what we predicted, I think. Right? Jared pulling a little bit of a lead, but again, it's not the lead Jared wants. Right?
No, it's not a huge lead. Episode 4 is gonna... I think that's where, I think it's gonna... Justin's gonna have to either start making mistakes or Jared starts playing really well,
Yeah.
Which to be fair, Jared is not the worst endgame player. He has certainly put a lot of practice, I think, into the endgame, We saw him actually practicing, Endor earlier, but It's rather, I think this is probably what the viewers want, I would say. A very close race, like, throughout the whole thing. And yeah, that's what it is. Jared, I think, probably going to be ending up with the better Dooku here, from what I've seen.
Yeah, Justin having a little trouble forcing one of those barrels. So Jared is going to have a 42-21 episode 2 exit. We'll have to see what Justin's is. So, like,
Yeah.
not terrible.
Well, I mean, the thing is, you have to keep in mind that it's affected by that gigantic pod
That is
race
true,
block.
yeah.
So, like, it's not really, like the exits are kind of meaningless at this point because of that.
Yeah, Justin pulling a 42-42, nice clean number. So that's going to be a 21-second lead for Jared. Going into episode 4, where I think, as we had mentioned, this is where we're going to see what the trend is for the rest of the run.
All right. In fact, actually, let's look at the predictions.
Yeah,
Because
let's take a look.
Right now, the BPT difference is like 14, 30, like a 31-second BPT difference. So Jared is favored, I guess, like a slight amount. It's like 60-40 seems reasonable to me. Like, it's not. Neither of them had a disaster start, so I think if they just keep playing even, I say it's pretty much dead even. I would say.
I would agree.
But yeah, going into secret plans, I think the levels. We've said this many times, but the levels to watch out for in this episode is going to be Junlinford, Spaceport, Princess, DSC, and even Rebel Attack these days. I don't even you've seen some of the weird misses on Rebel Attack.
Some weird Rebel Attack misses. I think Spaceport has calmed down a bit. Certainly, I think Justin's first match.
Well, no, because Jared's race, he lost a ton of time in
that is true.
Cantina Spaceport.
That is very fair, but I think the original scare was Justin's first ladder league match, where he lost 4 minutes trying to do first room.
I would say that pre-Cantina, not doing that strat anymore has, made things more consistent. But as we saw with the Jared miss the other day, you can still miss that strat. And that level is still a risk, I would say. But a level that is not a risk is this one, which is why we're not really talking too much about it. Maybe something unbelievable will happen here, but...
Yeah, we're going to find a Rebel friend skip tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you this stat, this as expected, but Jared currently about 2.5 minutes behind his personal best, as expected, because of the pod race.
Which I believe this is a PB that was still world record.
Well, yeah, the 218. And Justin is about 2 minutes behind as well, 2 minutes 11 seconds behind his BB, which is a 2:19.45.
Right? Yeah, nothing. Yeah, I mean it's secret plans. There's nothing really to say.
Justin misses that jump, but there's 2 players, so he's able to not lose that much time for that.
That is true.
I don't think I've ever seen anyone miss both jumps.
Yeah, I've seen more people fall off while navigating the ramp,
Yeah, that's definitely true.
The border. Whatever you want to call it. You're taking the EDD safety death there. But it's interesting to think of how we ended up with this specific combination of runners, because I feel like it's not the furthest apart you can get in terms of speedrun style, but they're very, very, very different runners.
Oh, sure.
And I think it's interesting to see, both of their progressions through this, where, Justin had a lot of trouble qualifying, a shocking amount of trouble qualifying for here, but once he was able to get into top 8, no real issue making it to finals. While Jared, not really a lot of trouble. I mean, his first run was not good, but he's able to win on the second, first rung. but then sort of limping his way through top 8. So
Yeah, here's the thing. I would say WIISUPER, he probably has, well, maybe this stat is wrong now these days, but probably one of the runners in this game that's done the most completed runs. Like, he definitely, like, is playing the late game, I think, way more than most runners, I would say. Probably, also with Jared as well, you know. Like, Jared, by comparison, just does not, based on, you know, on the style of play, he does not play a lot of runs to the end like Justin does.
yeah, but he does play a lot of runs to here, right?
That's
And
true.
that's where, like, this is where we're saying, you know, going into episode 4, which coming up here is going to be the first trial, right? In Junlin, going into episode 4 is where he's going to be able to make time back, or where he's going to fail to make time back. And again, it's weird. I say back. He's not making time back. He's in the lead, but again, based off of their play styles, he needs to be ahead by more to have, like, you know, a safety buffer.
All right. I mean, right now, 20 seconds. That's a difference of GTF at the end of the run. You know,
Yeah.
as we know, unless you have a greater than like a 40-second lead, I'd say entering Bespin, the race is not secure. You know, everything can change, as we've seen at the very last level.
Yeah, and we're gonna close out secret plans here. Justin taking some wacky deaths, so he might be losing a little bit more time here than I guess one would expect.
Yeah. I think most of the people did predict WIISUPER to have the better episode 4 exit, I think, if I remember correctly, by a little bit.
A little bit more predictions, and as we said, prediction markets are always correct. So I think Justin can, you know, can rest assured that he's gonna be all right. So that's Jared exiting with 48.33. We'll see what Justin's exit is here out of secret plans. 48.52. Okay, so not even a time loss.
29 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, my bad. I can't do
19.
that. 19 seconds, yeah. Actually, no, that's saving time. That's,
Yeah, he saved 2 minutes. Yeah,
he's saving 2 seconds there. Yeah.
I just want to note, by the way, real quick, while these cutscenes go on, if you like what you've been seeing here so far, Legothon will be starting on Friday the 18th. So, you know, please show up to some of your favorite games. We will have Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga here, but we'll have a lot of fun stuff going on. So if you're interested, show up Friday, July 18th. It's going to be 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Time.
But yeah, we're gonna see probably the whole gamut of all the different Lego games. Some of you probably never even heard of before. You know, it's gonna be very interesting. Just the variety we're gonna have there.
And talking about variety, we'll see what the variety of Junlins we have here, with Jared starting off Junlin, going to be going, of course, for Slow Force. At this point, pretty consistent for all of them. I haven't seen a lot of Slow Force issues.
The thing is, I personally feel I don't think there's gonna be something bad that's gonna happen in Junlin, from what I've seen so far. But like, to be honest,
that was cool.
it's a little bit close there. But like, I think the worst mistake I've seen people do, right, it's like, you know, at this level is, you know, they fail this initial Slow Force navigation. You know.
Yeah. It's weird. I feel like we've had maybe more time losses with, like, bad BBJs,
right,
than we had with, like, you know, Fast Force Out of Bounds variations.
Yeah. So that is going to be the Fast Force Brick collected from Jared there. Not too much to say. And here it is for Justin, as long as he's able to just get this camera cut there, which he does. And that is going to be the red brick for Justin as well. Pretty even openings for both of these runners.
Yep, now Jared coming up on backwards baby jump. Misses it first try. Misses it second try. Misses it third try.
That's
now,
the worst miss you can get. But that is fourth try.
Fourth try, which again, that is more of a time loss than either of them got off of the forces. Justin now coming up on BBJ. Misses it first try. Gets it second try. So that's going to be a little bit of a time save here from Justin.
Yeah, I think Justin has been pretty good at BBJ in tournaments. So definitely strength of him on this level. So he's going to be saving a little bit of time over Jared there.
Yeah, now here in the droid room, hosting some of our favorite droids, such as the droid with arms, I don't remember if the semicircle appears in this room.
No, I don't think so.
Unfortunately, the semicircle not appearing in this room.
You get like the crab arm droid. The droid, I think that's the one.
Yeah, the
you're
crab
talking
arm.
about.
Well, you also get the droid with a big stick on its head.
Oh yeah.
You know?
That's the one with like the periscope on the.
That's right, with a periscope.
Yeah, in this game, I don't think they have names. They're just like Droid 1 to like
Yeah, Droid 3, yeah.
There you go. But this is, you know, other than Jared's BBJ miss, a pretty standard start to Junland here. And this end section, you know, I think the jump that runners have been mainly failing is not this quick jump, but the jump after this one.
Yeah.
This used to be a problem for runners, but I think everyone knows the correct location to jump now. It's in that little shadow region there.
Yeah, and actually, curiously, like the second quicksand jumps also have been giving people more problems than what Jared just did, which is skeleton bridge skip.
Well, bone bridge.
Bridge skip.
Right, yeah. But this jump that Jared's doing here, we have seen some people take deaths on it. Probably, I think that's the most common thing I've seen.
Oh, Justin failing to jump on bone bridge skip. That's gonna be unfortunate.
Yeah.
Failing its second try. Okay, now he's losing time over just forcing it.
I think that definitely negates the BBJ advantage. Well, this is
Failing it. This is a incredibly weird place to be losing time. There we go. Finally gets the pixel.
Well, you know, just as I say, you know, that everyone just doesn't fail these two jumps, you know, I get proven wrong there.
Yeah, fortunately gonna be fine here with the quicksand, but that's like a 10-11 second time loss in a place where you should not be getting it.
Yeah, and Justin was poised to save some time back on Jared without those BBJ misses. So, yeah.
Yeah, also, notably, Justin, one of the runners that goes for R2 here, a lot of runners have been going for Luke.
Yes. Yeah, that was definitely the older thing to do Luke. I mean, to do R2 instead of Luke.
Yeah, so we'll see what the exits here are out of Jungland. I expect Jared to save a fair amount, 10-20 seconds off of Justin, but we'll see what the exact timing is.
Yeah,
and that's going to be, 35 seconds.
Yeah, 35-second difference now. It was a 19-second difference. So, yeah, those bone bridge skip misses really cost him there.
Yeah, if only he followed the video that I sent 5 years ago when I discovered it for the 25th time.
That's definitely one of the tricks that I think a lot of people discovered.
Yeah.
On the Wii version, it's even easier because Obi-Wan can just jump farther.
There we go.
So here I think is going to be a level that Jared probably has rehearsed a little bit more since his last tournament match. He definitely probably has re-practiced the pre-Cantina setup here, which was one of his biggest time losses in the last race. So I don't think he's going to make the mistake he made last time here, but if he does, that was a huge amount of time here.
Yeah, so of course doing player 3 glitch here with 3PO. And the trouble with that, of course, is that once you get player 3 glitch, you have to guide 3PO onto the button. And if you miss it, it's a bit annoying to kind of force him out of the way.
And sometimes I think people just reset the room. But yeah, there it is. Yeah, that's...
So Jared avoiding the kind of getting stuck opportunity there. But it did take him 2 tries, I believe.
Yeah, I don't think it was perfect. But,
Justin getting player 3 glitch immediately, but is he able to get the button quickly? Yes, he is.
Yeah, that's pretty much the level done. The only thing they have to do now is they have to go and actually guide C-3PO to the trigger here. I don't think any of them do the riskier setups for this. I think these are all fairly safe setups that they do here.
No, I don't think so. But yeah, Justin, as Chad is saying, getting a pretty good save there because it was kind of close to getting out. And I want to note, it's interesting that Justin is the one doing that save because he was the one that, due to not knowing the setup at all at the start of Ladder League, lost 4 minutes.
Yeah. So
Jared going for a slow line. We'll see how Justin does. I think this might gonna be a little bit of a time save for Justin, simply because he had a slightly faster player.
different setup there for Justin, but all right, there we go.
There you go.
All right.
So of course, hitting that final end trigger with player 3 while 3PO is out of bounds.
Oh
you
no,
just
he,
kind of gotta wait.
well, he's in the hangar and he's just like, while we're sitting there waiting, T3PO's just slowly walking over to the.
It's like, you know
final
what?
window.
I'm not gonna wait for these guys. I just met them. Like, who cares about Chewbacca? I'm getting on the Falcon. I gotta get out of here.
Right, and with that, it becomes a 30-second difference between the two runners.
It's a 5-second save there for Justin. Again, not a huge save, but certainly what he wants to see. Now, 5 seconds might be nothing.
I mean,
when you're entering the world of rescue.
well, I think Justin, he certainly is playing. I would say between the two of them, I think Justin is playing worse. Justin just wants to keep it close. You know what I mean? Like that I think is what he's trying to do, and he just needs to maintain his composure to keep the race close.
That's right. So here we're gonna, of course, see, can the helmet be maintained? And we've had some weird aggros in the bridge room where people have lost helmets and lost like 30 seconds.
In the bridge room? Oh, are you talking about at the end?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, in that room, of course, there's the pilots that can spawn, that can grapple up and, like, randomly shoot off your helmet. Yeah, the worst thing to do there is to basically leave the helmet right at the panel, and then you have to walk all the way back to the helmet dispenser. That can cost quite a lot of time.
Yeah, Jared now in Princess getting out of bounds will be quick. Now going to be moving on. Going for this red brick.
What is going on? Okay, Justin was missing the door there for a second.
Justin also out of bounds with Obi-Wan.
Jared did not do save shot, right?
I don't believe it.
But Obi-Wan
Didn't
showed
matter.
up for him, so yeah, that's good.
Of course, Obi-Wan always has a chance of getting stuck. At this point, it's not nearly as big of an issue it was. I remember when I joined, it was just a run killer.
Yeah, and I think Jared knew he played, I think, well enough that the chance of him getting stuck was fairly low.
Yeah, getting the helmet on Luke. Fortunately, we'll see if he has aggro issues. He does not. Okay,
Yeah.
so that is a big risk here. One of the big risks, anyway, saved. Now it's time for Justin to go through the same gauntlet, see if he can maintain the helmet through the grapple room.
And with
Jared
that,
is safe.
yeah, and that's, I think, yeah, pretty much, he's probably going to play the level just fine from there. Trash skip, though. Who do you think is going to get it between the two of them? Do you think any of them are going to miss it?
I don't think they're going to miss it. I think Justin has a slightly better shot, but I'm too concerned about that. I'm actually a little more concerned about Ripmore. Honestly, I think we've had some weird Ripmore entries. Yeah.
You see, the reason I bring up Trash Skip is that was the other disaster point of Jared's run last time. He got Trash Skip, then popped in bounds in the, the grapple section, He had to play it casually, did everything, but then forgot that he actually had to re-get the helmet to open the panel at the end of the room. That actually was one of the big turning points of the race. Losing a ton of time in that one room.
That is a good point. I'm sure he's been practicing, though. But yeah, it is a very weird out of bounds.
So, that's another place where, right now Jared's playing very well, but, Justin's looking for opportunities, and if that happens again, that's certainly a big opportunity for him.
Yeah, and the lead expands now to 34 seconds. Jared over WIISUPER, which is certainly a lead. It is still very close.
Yeah.
It is still crucially within GTF territory.
Yeah. But I'd say honestly, not only does the lead expanding, the BBT difference is expanding as well. It's like now 37 seconds versus it being like within like 2 seconds or like 10 seconds like early on in the race.
That is a good point, yeah. And that's important again because Jared has very good golds in the early game, and the concern was that he could possibly start losing a lot of time to those golds, and Justin, by not doing so, kind of comparatively comes out better. That's not happening. Oh, Jared almost fell to his death. That was
a bit,
scary.
A little bit scuff there on the island, but he is going to get it. Here's the place that Jared popped in bounds last time. It was this out of bounds movement right here. Jumped up too high and came back in bounds. It does not look like he's going to do that though. This last tricky section is to enter the door there, and he does get it. So Jared, redeeming himself from his last match. Justin gets the instant clip, and that's a big disaster for him because he gets the auto dropout on Chewbacca. And with that, Justin cannot do this skip. It's a one try, so he's going to have to play this room the old way. And that's a big swing to Jared.
That is really bad for Justin. Now, of course, if anyone is capable of playing this room the old way well, it's Justin. But still, that is very unfortunate.
Yeah, and that will probably seal the predictions for Jared for episode 5 exit, unless Jared really, really messes up this clip right here. But yeah, that's the tricky thing. If you're not expecting that early clip, as opposed to getting the clip on the respawn, if you're not careful, you can just have one of your characters just go slightly too far one way or the other, and it will just drop that character out, and then you're done for on that trick.
Yeah, I mean, overall, a very good princess for Jared. I mean, he almost died. That was really weird at the start, but otherwise, a very clean Ripmore, a very clean trash skip. Of course, Justin is not in the same situation. We'll have to see how his Ripmore is, but if his Ripmore doesn't go well, that's going to be a big problem.
The weirdness there. There's a lot of troopers on Jared's screen. I think at the top there for some reason, but yeah, it should get the respawn there. We might see like a minute exiting episode 1.
I think
episode 4.
Yeah, I think it's going to be. Let's see how Ripmore goes here for Justin. Okay, fortunately able to get it. Okay, so that is not devastating for Justin, but still, the failed trash skip there is going to be a big issue. And I mean, again, as you said, it's a room where fortunately Justin has experience to navigate it well. Just need to mentally recalibrate. Yeah. I forget where it was that when a similar thing happened, they forgot that you have to hold the stick idle on Han Solo when doing the grapple.
I think Jared messed up the grapple jump in the last week's race also. Yeah.
There you go, yeah. So messing up the grapple jump, of course, if you don't hold the stick idle, you're not able to do the mid-air jump, which is what you need if you're going to play the room non-casual.
Yeah, here's the thing. Justin, he's been around so long, he's done like every variant of Stroud on this level. He knows what to do here. But yeah, this is, I think, exactly what Jared wanted, and we are going to be seeing a very big differential here exiting this level. Which this now brings into question, I think right now Jared is feeling pretty good about himself, after that pod race miss. He's playing pretty well, I would say.
He has. I mean, both of them have been playing pretty solidly. I think Justin has been messing up the small things more. This, I think, is an anomaly, but certainly I think Jared is in better shape.
Yeah, at least in this early stage. But as we saw in the last race, it changed dramatically in episode 6. It all depends on whether, you can pull yourself together and just play well in episode 6.
I mean, yeah, Endor has not happened yet.
Endor's not happened yet, Carcoona's not happened yet, and Jabba's, even for Jared, was not a good Jabba's. We saw a lot of spiderless fails there yesterday.
Yeah,
not yet, we're like a couple days ago.
That's going to be a 56-minute delta.
56 seconds.
56
56.
That would be unfortunate.
56 minutes, I think Justin would probably just resign the race. But yeah, 56 seconds.
Yeah, 56-second delta out of Falconless.
Yeah, it's Rebel Tech here, I think. The lead is going to be this. Like, Justin's probably not going to take back the lead with this. The only thing that really happened in Rebel Attack is that you fail your torpedo targets. And you just don't want your torpedoes to double target. And so far it didn't do that for Jared. Jared actually had a very... was it Jared or Harasmi yesterday? Had a very unfortunate thing happen to them where basically they died with one of their ships just as they entered the transition. So they lost all their torpedoes entering the next room. But that does not happen here. I think both of those hit, so
We'll see the lights. Yeah, they all hit.
yeah. Is that?
Yeah, that is good.
Okay. Oh, missing the turnaround cancel there, doing the full backflip from Jared. Slight
Jared, a
time
bit
loss
too
there.
Right.
Nah,
No, he's
it's
fine.
fine,
He's fine.
that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Nothing terrible on Jared's screen other than the not the best like room 3 start. Didn't get the flip cancel, I guess.
Yeah, Justin going into room 2.
And I honestly, I'd say of all the players, Jared is, I think, a very momentum-based player. I think if he's playing well, he's playing really well, and if he's not playing well, we saw it just in this tournament. Like, you saw his earlier top 8 performance and the performance from last time. It's like 2 different runners, you know.
Yeah, no, I fully agree, and so this is what he wants to be seeing. I think he didn't let the
Oh, that's a miss on room 3.
Ooh, that's second miss.
Yeah, he did selfless. Let's see, he's just trying to eyeball it there, and he does get it there, but that's a much bigger miss than Jared, so he's going to be losing even more time on this split.
Yeah, I think, so Jared, I think the pod race thing did not affect him, I guess as much as I would have expected. It's possible that they did see that they were coming out of pod race somehow with a 2-second delta.
I think they're aware of it. Otherwise, I think they would be playing very differently.
Yeah, Jared getting true Jedi, so gonna have a lot of studs to go back to the shop with. Yeah, I mean, Justin closing it out. I think, let's quickly go and... Let's not approve of prediction. I guess not that anything would happen if we did. But, yeah, going back to your earlier question, what level is going to do it, I think, in my mind, the rest of the game, the rest of the match, is seeing if this 1-minute lead that Jared's going to get is going to be maintained.
Yeah.
Right? Is he able to hold through it? I think a minute is the range that he wants, where he becomes very competitive again. If it was 30 seconds, 20 seconds, that's where I'd be getting a little scared if I was him. But 1 minute, and it's going to be more than 1 minute, is much more in the range that he's interested in.
Yeah, after this Rebel attack, he's going to save more time. A 109 episode 4 exit from Jared. You know, not really a good pace, you know, in the run setting, but considering the pod race mishap, you know, I think he's played reasonably, you know, for grand finals. And that is going to be it probably for the, you know, the episode 4 predictions here. Justin basically finishing 1 minute and 4 seconds after Jared in episode 4. Yeah, congratulations to all of those that predicted Jared. Now we're in the Jabba's opening cutscene, so I guess the thing, Jared, it's not that he, like, right now Jared's passed a lot of the things that he screwed up yesterday, but not all of them. Like, he messed up a bit in episode 6 as well. Like, you know, Spiderless misses, you know, Carcoon, you know, there's still an opportunity here for Jared to make some mistakes on all these levels. I don't know if that's what we're gonna get though from this. This is, I'd say, much more confident gameplay from him today. So
yeah, I'm curious if he took some sort of like mental reset. Because I remember exiting the Harass Me run, he was not happy with it.
Well, even though he won,
yeah, he was not happy with that run because it was not a good run for him. Like, certainly he's capable of much more.
Yeah. It is interesting to think what would have happened if this was a Harass Me versus WIISUPER match. And I will say also the other factor going in Jared's favor is that Jared has already beaten Justin, I guess. And Harass Me also, for that matter.
That is true. Well, yeah, which again, I think the question for me, right, that I've been thinking going into this is, is Justin's early performance in this tournament, right? The first 3 rungs. The first 3, the first 3 weeks. Is that the oddity? Or is his top 8 performance the oddity? Because if his top 8 performance is the oddity, then he's safe.
Yeah.
Or if his first 3 rungs. If his top 8 is, that's where the problem is. I think Jared, this is certainly the oddity if he plays it well. But he has been playing it well. And as you said, he's a momentum runner. He's someone who, if he's playing well, he gets hyped up, he plays better. If he's playing badly, he gets frustrated, he plays worse. So, if he just keeps playing well, if he doesn't mess up Spiderless, if he doesn't mess up the rest of Java's, he's going to be in good shape.
Yeah, and here we are. Here is Jared in Java's. None of these are going to be doing the funny spider strats here. They're all going to play this, you know. I'd say it's old-fashioned because the strat here really hasn't changed for many years at this point. But we should hopefully see some solid things. I've been seeing, honestly, a lot of what is it? Droid avoid misses. Like right here where Jared comes. Like Jared missed it even with the 2-player setup like yesterday.
What? Out of that, did you see what Jared did?
Yeah, he might be doing the 1-player variant, I think. What is going on?
What happened?
Did I miss something?
Just get hit?
Yeah, Jared is doing 1-player droid avoid.
And gets it.
Rather, okay, yeah. Normally you have 2 players there. I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe he's just doing a strat variant there, but yeah, Jared did get did end up getting that trick, and here we're coming up on a trick he did struggle with yesterday with Spiderless. Another really old trick, but a precise lineup. We'll see if he improves his performance today. And this, I think, will be a good indicator of his Episode 6 performance.
Ooh, first try for Jared getting the out of bounds. That is what he wants to see. Now, can he pull that through? Can he get the clip? We'll have to see. In the meantime, Justin heading into Droid Avoid.
Yeah, yeah, that's a much better Javas than yesterday for Jared.
Yeah.
So
It's been the trend the whole race.
he is not letting up on this, which is bad news for Justin, I think.
Justin, 4th try Droid Avoid. Of course, that's not a huge time loss, but that is a time loss, and he is not at a spot where he can start, doing those. Now, here's Justin's key moment, because if he is incapable of matching Jared's Spiderless. Oh, that was a weird clip.
Yeah, taking a bit of time, does get it. That's slower than Jared.
That is slower than Jared, but he is able to get it without too much trouble. Zach trying to inflate the pot for when Justin wins so he can get paid off by the ringers he has hired.
Yeah, it's really tricky to judge here with Jared, because people say Jared is like a very good early game runner, that his late game is probably the weakest aspect of it. It's kind of hard to quantify in my opinion. Like I think people are now aware that a minute like a minute ahead right now doesn't necessarily mean that it's a sure thing for the end of the race here.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, I think, the question that needs to be answered by the end of this episode is, does Jared start making mistakes? Because right now, I think the big thing is, like, I'm not seeing a big mistake.
Yeah, we're not seeing big mistakes. I would say 2 things.
Yeah.
Jared is not, he's not salty, right? He has had a good run, I think, or, fine run. He's been able to maintain that. But as we get into the late game, of course, fatigue sets in.
Yeah,
Right?
that's right.
3 hours of this, 3 hours of the stress of being in grand finals, 2 hours, is not a very pleasant thing to go through. I think Justin is better equipped for that, but he needs to be a minute 20 better equipped for that.
Right.
So I'm not sure how much that's gonna end up mattering. But I mean, yeah, minute 20, you can lose a minute 20 in CCT without much trouble.
Yeah, what was that Jabba's from? That's like a 6-16 Jabba's.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I think it was a quadruple droidovoid miss, the spiderless miss, whatever happened in that first room.
yeah, like, I mean, as we're saying, the thing is, it would be fine if Jared was also making mistakes, but Jared isn't making mistakes
No.
right now.
Jared does not get any early hearts on.
It was a bit of a weird Boba fight.
Ooh, not a good Boba fight, but he takes a kill. Bud does take it.
So here's my question: if there is a turning point in this race, because right now Jared is in the driver's seat.
Yeah,
If there is a turning point in this race, what level will it be?
I think it'll be Endor.
You think it will be Endor?
I think it'll be Endor because I think, of course, Justin's traditional turning point is going to be CCT.
Sure. Or even just Episode 5 in general.
Even just
like
Episode 5 in
Falcon,
general.
Flight, Echo Base,
Yeah.
Hoth.
But I think as the theme that we've kind of maintained here, that is a turning point if Jared's mental goes down. And it's so easy for your mental to disappear in Endor. Right, that is where you have a chain of tricks where you can mess them up and it's very frustrating. And we've seen that with runners missing I mean really everything there is in Endor, right?
I think the other interesting thing, I think Zach said this during the Jared semifinals match, is that Endor is a very interesting level in that even if you're playing well, you can still bomb Endor.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a hard level. Like, even though there is a momentum factor, it's just a hard level.
Yeah.
What try was that disco, actually? Were you looking?
I believe it was a second try disco, but I may be wrong with that. Justin had a pretty good Boba fight though.
Okay. Did you see the topless attempt?
Yeah, Jared first tried topless.
So, not the best, but this is acceptable.
Yeah.
Karkin. Okay.
Certainly the cartoon, not a cartoon Jared will despise, but of course there's a top section here for Jared.
Honestly, this is not looking that good for Justin. It's like
Justin getting a very clean topless though. Let's see what the spawns are here. Getting good spawns on the enemies. Jared having a pretty clean top. So now Justin going into disco.
that is a 428 harpoon for Jared. Gonna be a little bit tricky for Justin, I think. Really taking his time on this setup.
That's a lot of time on this facial disco setup. And he gets it. Okay, so at least it pays off. Took a moment to get in. Yeah, Jared now, unfortunately, going through all that, but it is now going to have to go for a flower jump. And if he's unable to get flower jump first try, that's going to be massive time loss for him. So hopefully it's not going to be a problem.
Obviously other than flower jump, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think this is just, we're going to have to wait for Endor. I think. I don't think I'm seeing a big turning point in Carcoon there for WIISUPER. Jared's at Carcoon is pretty good. Like, CG on Carcoon is a 424 achieved in the last semifinal match, actually. So, Jared, I think, got a pretty good Carcoon. I don't think Justin is matching this.
Achieved in the last semis by?
Harassment.
Oh, there you go.
Jared had an awful Carcoon in the previous semis, though. So, he did not get the CGs. Harassment did. Yeah, let's see what this Carcoon is here. From Justin. This is...
Whoa! I did not think it was that bad of a cartoon.
I think something happened to the star. We might have missed it. But, yeah, that is certainly not a 428. So, yeah, that is certainly inflating the gap a lot more. That is like a minute 30 gap at this point.
Yeah, minute 30 gap going into Speedo Show. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess not much to say until we see Jared's Endor, and I think if Jared gets a good Endor, then it's really gonna be upwards fight for Justin.
Yeah. Here's the thing. The one thing that I will say, it's a minute 30 right now. These are the runners that we have here. With Jared, anything can happen, I think.
I think as Zach Muffin of SLGB Music fame aptly says, we have the biggest choker in TCS history ahead and the biggest clutcher in TCS history behind. So, something to think about.
Yeah, here's the problem though. We need Jared to actually start messing up. Like
We do, yeah.
Like
yeah.
that. In order for that to happen, that needs, like, Jared needs to stop playing well.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously, you know, I'm not gonna root against him here, you know, but right now, I mean, he's not playing poorly.
Yeah.
He's just not playing poorly. Yeah, it's Endor, I think. Here's the thing, we know Jared was practicing Endor before, which honestly, last minute practice, it can harm or hurt, you know.
Yeah, yeah. It can, you get in your head. You develop bad habits.
I mean, we know both of them were practicing pod race just before, and you saw what happened there, but, yeah, with Endor here, it's a minute 30 though. How many 12 button skip misses do you need to make up that difference?
But see, the thing is, it's a minute 30, but if it exits 45 seconds, then you're back in episode 5 territory.
Yeah, I mean, he does not need to, like, turn it around all at one level, you know? But remember, Jared is not, like, a horrible Endor player, I guess. He's certainly not one of the best Endor players, but he is, like, he has a sub 6 on this level. Which, I don't know even if Justin has, like, a sub 6 on Endor. Like, he might not actually have a sub 6 on Endor. So at least on paper, Jared might be better at this level. So, we'll see.
Yeah, right now, still on nothing of any difficulty. Jared is moments away from the final. Just waiting for the bits to start.
Yeah, I mean, here, actually, I'll ask this question after Jared starts doing this. But you can answer this after. The question I'm wondering is, how far can Justin be behind such that he can still make up the difference in episode 5? That is my question, actually. Because episode 3, there are, like, Chancellor's the big level to lose time on. Okay, that's not... Okay, but he is getting that over, so that is
a big... I was gonna say that's a big risk save for Jared. Certainly, he wants to see. Okay, yeah, that is one of the big problems there with Jared gone. Able to get 12 button skip without any trouble.
Yeah, I don't think Justin is gonna beat those attempts there. This is not looking good.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jared, I think, you know, clutching those that skip there.
I would say, and to answer your question, if it's past 2 minutes, I find it very difficult for Justin to win.
5 what?
If it's past 2 minutes delta entering episode 5,
yeah,
that's where I start, like, you know, the math doesn't add up. You know, if I was a John King on CNN with my math and doing election results, and I see that delta, that's where I'm like,
You're calling the race.
That's right. That's right.
WIISUPER has won the state of Pennsylvania.
That's exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing is, like, if we're looking at Justin's, like, possible episode 5, like, time saves, Falcon Flight, you know, you can definitely get 30 seconds there. CCT, you know, with him you know, he's not gonna probably get the DD fast DD1. I don't think he's gonna be going for it. If he's like, if it's a close race, but he basically, again, he needs to rely on Jared to play poorly. Like that, I think that's a tricky position to be in, because once it's no longer just dependent on your ability, but just on.
I just want to note, sorry, not to interrupt, but Justin took 2 tries there.
Okay.
To get Han over.
Yeah, one
try for Leia. Okay, so this is about equivalent to Jared's, because Jared's was 2 tries.
That's low. Yeah.
That is low. That's not good.
No. Okay.
Oh my God, Justin, what are we doing, bro?
Yeah, this is gonna be losing more time. So, again, just bleeding the time everywhere.
Yeah, and Jared in the meantime having a perfectly adequate bunker.
I mean, it's worse than Jared for sure. Like, I think, like, that's the thing. He's just not, like, I mean, it's not like the biggest Endor disaster possible for Justin, but it's
the lack of an Endor disaster from Jared.
Yeah, it's like the thing is, like, at this point, you know, we're sort of looking for, I guess, like, morsels, you know, like things to hang on for a close race, you know, like the fact that it was not a horrible disaster, you know, I think, you know, that's to be celebrated at this point. But, you know, yeah, I mean, Jared is just playing better. And yeah, 2 minutes, I agree with you. 2.5 minutes. That, I think at that point it's really difficult to make that up in episode 5 without a disaster, like an extreme disaster from Jared.
Yeah, I think it's down to Justin's bunker. Okay, gets the cutscene skip. Gets the Han clip.
Yep.
I mean, good movement in the bunker for Justin.
I mean, again, it's not. I would not say it's anything to write home about, but you know, it's. Yeah, it works, I guess. I wish I could say much more, I guess, about that. He is getting the camera pan skip, though. I think that, honestly, with this, I think the pivotal level might be Chancellor. I have seen some disasters on Chancellor. Like, that's the tricky thing. After episode 6, it's really, really tricky to have these, like, really pivotal, you know, levels.
Yeah, I just want to know real quick. Wicked's Grand Adventure not hitting as one would want, so has to go for the.
I think that happened to him also in, like, another race. Like,
yeah, so that's going to be also another time loss for Justin. This is starting to become a disaster Endor, not because of any individual thing, but because almost every trick has involved a time loss.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah, basically after ITDS, I think it's going to be really hard for him to make any time back prior to episode 5.
Yeah,
so
we'll see how Jedi Destiny goes. That is not the place to be pushing. Oh, Jared.
Not the best Destiny, though.
Not the best Jedi Destiny. Ends up hitting the Emperor.
The thing is, Jared is so far ahead, well, you know, that he can afford to miss here and there.
But he's not, hold on, he's not that far, right? We're talking about okay, there we go. Exactly 2 minute delta, right? Exactly 2 minute delta.
Okay, yeah.
He gets a 3/ on the Emperor, but that's after an Emperor hit. You know, that's.
Look,
Justin heads are feeling the cope. Maybe, you know, maybe the hopium is in the air, but.
I can't tell. All I'm saying is I don't think that's a minute and 30.
It's not. It's not a
minute
30.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, you know. You know, we do like, I guess Justin is the underdog now, and, you know, we do like an underdog in these sorts of races. Justin, I think, generally has very consistent Jedi Destinies. He does do the slower left side strap, but he's, I think, fairly consistent at this level. So as long as he just plays to his regular ability here, he should be able to make up some time here to Jared.
Yeah, I all the Justin heads in chat coping about their bets.
Yeah. I mean, so episode 3 is a very Justin favored level. Episode, I will say.
Mm-hmm.
He has Kashyyyk, or at least he used to. He's very good at Ruin. Chancellor, I guess, is kind of a wash. But, like, Justin, I think, in the back half of episode 3 is pretty good. He's a good episode 3 player. So he can save a bit of time there, potentially.
Ooh, Justin gets a super clean Jedi Destiny.
Yeah, so...
Single slot.
Yeah, so that's definitely going to save a little bit of time over Jared.
Yeah, we'll see what the extra time is. That's going to be maybe 20-30
How was this ITDS? We have not been
his ITDS opening, well, just began. It was not great. It was not great. He only has one torpedo going into the second starter square. Yeah, able to get a second one.
There's another one there.
Is he going to pick that up? Or... Yeah, no, waiting, man. There you go.
I mean, like, I wouldn't say this is, like, the worst opening of all time. It's certainly not anything to write home about.
Well, the problem is all the torpedoes are on...
That's a blank for
Ooh,
Jared.
that's a blank for Jared. And I was going to say, all the torpedoes originally were on Falcon, which is not what you want. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so that's going to be exiting Jedi Destiny anyway. What is that? A 20-second time save for him, Justin?
Yeah, he saved a decent chunk of time.
So not 2-minute range.
He just needs to keep it within that range before episode 5.
Yeah.
That's what he needs. And Justin on Into the Death Star, he is the CG holder here. Of course, a lot of it depends on this opening, but when it counts, WIISUPER has been known to pull off some very nice luck, I guess, of this opening.
That's right.
And that is what he's going to need. Let's see this opening from Justin here. There's going to be one torpedo ship that comes there. There's the other one right here, so he'll be able to move on to the next one. And another one right there. So that's going to be 3 quick torpedoes. And, he's going to get one going to the other one there. So, wow, 4 torpedoes right there on the way. So that's 2 ships right there, assuming nothing blanks. Look at this. I think this is a better opening from what I'm seeing here. Yeah, this is the classic WIISUPER ITDS opening there. That is what he needs, I think, to just save a little bit more time over Jared here. Like, that's a nice opening right there from WIISUPER. Of course, Jared has 2 torpedoes in the core, so he is going to have to farm a torpedo off of the central core here. And yeah, the torpedo flew away from him here all the way to the edge. Will he get it in time? He doesn't. He has to wait for another one, and that torpedo evades him again. So that's going to be a bit of time loss in the core there for Jared as well. But he does get infinite torpedoes. So if Justin is able to play a better core than Jared there, this is going to be a decent ITDS time save for Justin. This is exactly what he needs right now. And you see these targets there, those should all hit, and he's going to have to collect some things there. But with Jared's suboptimal core there as well, having to wait and farm torpedoes, yeah. Could this be the start of a WIISUPER comeback?
You know what they say. They say something, but I'm sure you know it. Yeah, Justin. Let's see how this goes.
He might do the flip here. Yeah, he does not do the flip, unfortunately. Let's skip this camera. Yeah, all Justin needs to do, he has already more torpedoes than Jared, so as long as he doesn't
no blanks there.
That double targeting, yeah.
And you know what, Justin? He's got an X. Able
Yeah.
to pick up infinite
Okay.
torpedoes. Right?
All right, so yeah, this is just going to be a better ITDS than Jared. Now, I think he just needs to continue the momentum. He just needs to play episode 3 like he usually does, and by any luck, he should be able to make up a bit of time in episode 3 here versus Jared.
Yeah, I mean, fascinating race. Like, this is, you know, this is why we run Ladder League. This is exactly what we're looking for. It's the storytelling. It's really seeing the differences between the runners. We'll see what the time is here for Justin exiting ITDS.
It's going to be a 136.44 episode 6 exit from Jared. You know, definitely those last two levels of episode 6 did put a bit of a damper into his episode 6 performance. So overall, you know, he hasn't been making too many mistakes other than that Jedi Destiny mistake. And Justin, you know, with not a very good episode 6 at all, potentially being able to close this episode 6 off strong. So I don't know. This is a tricky race to call.
It's a hard race to call because, I mean, like, we say all this, but BPTs are still a minute difference.
Yeah, there is a minute difference still in the BPTs. It's gonna... Justin's have to play pretty well in episode 3, I think.
Minute difference BPT, and now a minute 12 difference in Delta.
Yeah. That is going to be a minute and 12 difference.
Which, I mean, just to note, that is a 48-second Delta swing in 2 episodes, in 2 levels.
Yeah.
That's big.
That is the power of Into the Death Star and the Jedi Destiny Miss. You know?
Yeah. The Jedi Destiny Miss especially is weird.
I've seen it. It's happened so many times in Live League.
Yeah.
You know. It's just that once you get the Emperor slightly off, you try doing slashes, and if you just don't have the right slashes, you know, you'll just hit the Emperor and you hit it. So I think the big level to watch now is going to be Chancellor. Of course, you know, Coruscant is basically an auto-scroller. You can, like, gain, like, a couple of seconds here, you know, off of better movement.
Yeah.
But what is going to really determine it is if Jared has a Chancellor disaster. That would be either a Chancellor super jump, big miss, or perhaps, you know, a MVE miss. You know, all those things could put Justin in the closer. After that, it's Grievous. That's a potential place, you know, for either one to... Oh. Actually, I think Jared's stream is frozen for a second. We should probably get a refresh.
Oh, there
it is. There it is.
Okay.
Yeah. Jared dropped
Ooh,
the...
big panic, but we are good.
Well, the Justin enjoyers were about to, like, celebrate there if Jared just crashed there. But, yeah, the stream did pause a little bit there. Yeah, otherwise, I mean, we don't really need to commentate Coruscant, to be honest.
But yeah, it's Chancellor, I guess Grievous.
Grievous.
But you know,
You could lose time in the Kashyyyk.
You could lose time in Kashyyyk.
Ruin if you fail the drop and warp, which we have seen.
Ruin, I think, we've had a surprising amount of time losses on Vader.
Vader death in the final platforming section.
And also Vader death in the start.
Oh yes, yeah, that's and of course the worst miss we've seen in this episode is probably the Chancellor hardlock.
Certainly, and we have had Chancellor hardlocks really change the game, as one would say.
Yeah.
Of course, both of these runners are going to do as much as possible to avoid it, because this is not a run to be, you know, taking those risks with.
Both of these runners, I think, are well aware of that risk. I think
Yeah.
we've generally been seeing it among the newer runners. I think, but yeah, that is probably the worst mistake you can make in that episode. That would basically swing the race immediately.
That's right.
If that's the case. Yeah, and for those who don't know, Grand Finals, this is best of 1, I guess. We are not doing best of 3 because this game takes 2 hours to run a single match. A best of 3 would take multiple days,
right.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
So whoever wins this race is your champion for Ladder League. Zach, of course, pulling his classic VSB bit, but we'll see if this is a boy who cried wolf situation in the moment when we enter episode 5.
Yeah, and Jared, Jared opening up the gates here to enter Chancellor.
So let's look at Chancellor here. The freeze on Jared's stream there.
Yeah, Jared, I think probably splicing as we speak. So that's going to be an instant ban for the runner going into Coruscant. Or going into Chancellor.
Yeah. Well, if he spliced it, this must be the best Chancellor of all time.
That's right. We're about to see some crazy stuff.
And that is the first trick of Chancellor Grievous Door stuff. He is able to skip this cutscene there. That's a good start for Jared.
One death on this pillar. Going into the droidical hallway should not be a problem, but we have some micro optimizations here. Really some micro time losses. Such as on this droidica, so not the cleanest, but not the end of the world.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Justin now going into Chancellor.
I mean, this is not bad from Jared so far. He's going to need a Chancellor super jump miss here to close this race up. But he is going for MVE. We have seen him fail this, I think, in the last race. But that is the out-of-bounds section good, and that is a very clean MVE.
Very
That's
quick
saving
MVE.
the full. Yeah, that's saving the full time there. And Justin not getting GDS. And what is going on?
Jared R2 ran away.
This is a very weird droid cleanup for
Importantly,
Jared.
got to disable there, so he has to kill the security droid first. I guess can still 1P2C in the meantime, though.
Yeah, not the best droid clear for Jared there, and R2 is doing something funky there as well.
Yeah, R2, I think, paid off by WIISUPER fans to run away. Ooh, Justin taking a death there in the hallway, though.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is not going to lose enough time, I think.
Very clean droidicas.
Yeah, but there's some opportunity here. If you can't tell, we're really grasping at straws here, I think.
I mean, listen, it's like it is not an insurmountable lead. Jared did whatever that was with R2. Justin has not had a great Chancellor otherwise so far.
Yeah, Jared did not get the hard lock there, so I think he's pretty much in the clear for this Chancellor.
Yeah, so now really more looking at Justin's screen.
Also going for MBE right now, so
yes.
Not hitting the transition immediately there, but is able
It's,
to
one
back it up.
1 or 2 second time loss, but he does hit it. Now going, of course, for the super jump. Hopefully this time R2 does not decide to take a quick trip. Better droids as well for Justin.
Yeah, that's gonna be a little bit cleaner,
What a
but
weird move.
yeah, it's not the best, but I think because of the MVE mess up here, it's really not going to be too big of a.
Yeah, I mean, not the end of the world for either runner. Both of them missing weird things. I think Jared's going to pull a little bit of time ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. Before in Coruscant, that was a minute 13 difference. My bad, not a minute 13. A minute 7 difference.
It's a faster.
And I think
Justin.
yeah, probably a couple seconds more here for Jared. Yeah, that is going to be a that's a. That's not a bad Chancellor, actually.
No, yeah.
So Jared, getting like a not an unreasonable Chancellor there.
Justin, with incorrectly set OBS settings, is going to be only in the top left corner of your screen. So
I think he mentioned he does that on purpose for some reason. Like he's not doing the OBS stretching, I believe. But yeah, there's some technical reason why he does it. But okay, that's a 2 cycle for Jared. Another 2 cycle for Jared. This is not the best Grievous so far. You want to be getting 3 cycles and 4 cycles. That is a 1 cycle. That is a 3. And he's gonna have to do another round of this. This is, yeah.
Okay, he kills it with he kills him with Cody at least, but that is not a great Grievous.
No. Yeah. That's that. I guess if you are a Wii Super fan, you know that's another opportunity for you.
That's right.
Yeah. That was not good at all. That was. Well, actually, it's like a 120.
Yeah, not the end of the world. Also, by the way, exiting Chancellor, the lead by Jared extends a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, it's by like 15 seconds.
Well, but the thing is, Justin can make back those 15 seconds
Oh,
on
yeah.
Grievous.
Oh yeah, he probably will.
That was 120. Honestly, I thought it was gonna be worse than 120 personally, but yeah, that's not a good Grievous. The community gold on that is like a 104 or something. It's
Yeah, and Justin often getting very good Grievous is also of note.
Let's see. I know Justin.
1, 2, 3. Okay, opens with a 3 cycle.
Okay, that's your standard decent opening here. That's another 3
Another
cycle
3
right
cycle.
here.
Bit of a spoiler flaw, but don't worry about that, folks.
That's
Ooh,
a
very
3-3-4. That's way better.
Whoa.
Than Jared did.
Incredible.
And that is a 110.
That is a 110, so that's going to be making up... The lead is now back to a 115-ish.
It basically negates the Chancellor. How is this Kashyyyk going for Jared? Also?
Fine.
I know we've been focused on Justin for a little bit too much.
Yeah. Jared's Kashyyyk, nothing of note. Didn't have any issues with the Wookiees, or with the Wookiee shots over on the first ones. Of course, movement level. I think Jared has not necessarily an advantage, but Jared's very good mechanically.
Well, but Justin is the siege holder.
But Justin is siege holder.
Justin is the siege holder on Kashyyyk, so. I mean, so far, Chancellor. I mean, Justin didn't have like it wasn't the best Chancellor. This is like okay.
Yeah. Also, just want to know, BPTs have tightened.
Yeah, it is. It's basically a minute now. Again, it was a little bit worse than a minute before, but now it's back to a minute BBT. But hopefully, Justin can take that Grievous success. Maybe just convert it into a good, mentality going into episode 5 here.
Yeah, getting doing better on a skill level like Grievous is always going to be nice for him. He's
Yeah,
okay, he gets it.
that's fine.
Yeah, faster opening there for Justin. With the Wookiees. In the meantime, Jared now on the Rolling Rocks.
Yeah.
Watch for Rolling Rocks here for Yoda.
Yeah, he gets up there, and he's gonna get there. Oh, yeah, he gets that jump as well.
Yeah, no, not an issue. Jared performing about as he would want, so probably, certainly any time saves are gonna come, I think. I guess we'll see the last room, but any time saves are probably gonna come from Justin playing very well, which he has been.
Yeah.
That was a very good opening from Justin.
Yeah, I think really in this,
Well,
okay.
if Jared kills himself, that also doesn't help.
Yeah, it's not necessarily the best end room there for Jared, but he is able to.
Definitely not a good end room for Jared.
Yeah, that
Taking
is...
2 unnecessary deaths has to get the last thing with Yoda.
It's yeah, I mean, there's time there for Justin to save, so it's not going to be a minute time save. I mean, for the rest, and that's the case for the rest of episode 3. Like Ruin, it all depends on whether Jared will get library skip or not. And Vader, the worst mistake you can make is taking the death in the last room. So
yeah, but I mean, at this point, with the lead that Jared has, Jared is in the range of, a 10-second time save mattering a lot. It's not 3 minutes.
oh,
right?
oh yes, like with a minute difference, yeah, 10-second time saves matter a lot.
Yeah, so and I think Justin's gonna get about that on Kashyyyk, unless he also bungles his last section.
Yes. Yeah, 2 hearts on both of them, so yeah, you do need to be a little bit careful there with the shots. Yeah, Chewbacca is going to take a death there just like before.
But Yoda makes it so going to be able to get early forces.
Right, but Yoda's probably...
Well, not with this excellent movement.
Oh yeah, he really did.
Well, if only he got the force though, but that's pretty good. Pretty good for Justin. Definitely going to be a bit of a time save exiting Kashyyyk.
Yeah, a bit of dodging there, improv dodging with Yoda to save himself there, but...
Actually, was it? No. Okay, about even.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not the... Yeah. I mean, as you can clearly tell, both of the commentators are very biased towards one specific runner right now.
I made my opinions known.
Yeah. Let's see. That's not a bad kill for the clones there in Ruin. And that's, yeah, first try library.
Yeah, very clean library for Jared. Justin gets interrupted, but able to slash through.
I think if it's a minute 30, what do you think the chances are of Justin winning with a minute 30 time difference? Because I assume that's probably what it's going to be at the end of this episode.
I think Jared probably wins.
With a minute 30 lead?
Yeah, let's say Justin wins 20% of the time.
Yeah, 1/5?
Yeah.
It's not unreasonable, I think.
This has been a very good ruin for Justin though. But yeah, Justin is not making the time back in the same manner that he should be, and in the same manner he was.
I mean, basically the main time save Justin's had this episode is Grievous.
Yeah, which is like, okay, yeah.
And Jared otherwise I think has been playing, either adequately or but no drop in warp for Jared though, if you notice. On the Vader.
Yeah, Justin getting first try library skip, what he wants to see, getting the force. Okay, yeah. Good job from Justin there. The lead is gonna stay at about the same. A nice clean 115 lead for Jared, exiting Destiny.
Yeah.
Or sorry, exiting Ruin.
Ruin, yeah. And with that missed drop in warp from Jared, that is one other opportunity, I guess, for Justin to make up a little bit of time here.
And that's what, like 15 seconds?
I don't think so, but like, really, I think the question, if you're a WIISUPER fan, you are wondering whether Jared will take the death on this final session.
That's right. Now, after the only thing left here is Jared's.
So after Ruin, that's looking like a minute 15. Slowly building up a little bit there. I think that's probably what's going to be after Vader, unless something catastrophic happens right now for Jared. And there's the drop in.
Gets the drop in warp. Okay, that is a big time save for Justin. Not doing that enough.
Yeah, none of these runners I think do kill a clip. So
Jared does not fall to his death, so that is going to be a clean ending from Jared. No major disasters in episode 3.
no,
Which is, what he wanted. Did not have a good Grievous, but other than that, was fine.
yeah, Grievous was the big thing, and how much can you blame Jared for Grievous? Like, probably not.
Yeah.
It's a very hardware dependent level, obviously.
I've been impressed. He has not let his random, like, decently sized time losses, get to his head. Not splitting after Vader, so I guess we won't know what his exit is, and therefore we won't know what Justin is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we'll have to just double check on Jared's splits there, just to make sure he split correctly. But I mean, in the meantime, oh wait, did I have with Justin?
I don't think so.
Okay, that is.
Oh, that was spooky. Okay, no, Jared did make it into.
Oh, he's on hot. Yeah, I think so. So
Yeah.
yeah, we should see Jared split shortly, I think.
Jared splitting, by the way, a 155.09.
Yes. So after Vader, that is going to be a 1 minute and 8-second difference.
Yeah, 1 minute 8-second difference going into episode 5. That's like within 60-40 territory. So yeah, that's gonna be, you know, like, I'd rather be Jared.
Well, I mean, I'd rather be ahead if that's what you're.
Yeah,
what you're
certainly
saying.
I'd rather be ahead. I'd rather be Jared. Justin's gonna have trouble. 1 minute is not, you know, like, it's not the end of the world.
I don't get 64. I think it's closer to like 20%, to be honest.
We'll close it 70. Yeah.
I think
80,
you're, to be honest, I don't think you're being a very objective commentator right now.
You know what? I don't know what to say. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I certainly. One of the runners is going to win, so it has to be 50-50.
I will say I would rather be Justin in episode 5, though, regardless, because
That's true.
you know Justin does have some great episode 5s, I guess. Yeah. So this is the moment. I think I think what we said, like 1 minute 8. That was what we said.
Yeah. One
And
minute.
and the BBT difference is about that same amount, a minute 8 right now. With a minute 8, I think we said before, like 2 minutes, like the absolute worst he could possibly recover from. So he's still well under that, but he is gonna need a good Hoth here. So let's see how Jared will approach this Hoth first. He's coming up to the first obstacle here, the barrier skip. Justin does do the menuing here, I think, a little bit faster. We'll see how fast Jared does this menu here. Okay.
VSB.
You scroll up to EBB. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. You know, perfectly fine for Jared there. So now we're going to get into the RNG arena section. Really, we're going to be looking at his AT-AT spawns. That's probably going to be the big thing. Here's wave 1. I'm going to hope to get some VSB, use VSB to blow up these probe droids. And in case people got tricked by what Zach said earlier, no, Jared did not miss VSB.
Yeah, I think that. Well, I think this indicates that Jared must have spliced the run. You know.
Perhaps, yeah.
But yeah, pretty clean there from Jared. Perfectly fine Hoth opening.
Yep. Same thing on the second wave here. Yeah, that's gonna be a nice big batch there, but not as good as the first wave. That last straggler there, right there.
Yeah, the BPTs here are probably going to be still within a minute of each other as well, just because of the missplit, by the way.
Yeah. Let's see what the AT-AT spawns. That's not a bad AT-AT spawn at all, I guess. The ones you don't want is you don't want the AT-AT on the rock, obviously. You don't want the AT-ATs too close to each other. He's not going to double wrap this. He's just going to do the standard here, but like this is a decent. Is that early?
That missed.
Okay,
Well,
yeah,
he missed
the
the bomb.
Well, I think that's...
And it goes away. Oh, that's a big bomb.
well, he should be able to recover... Oh,
No,
he
it
cannot.
just went away. He has to get another bomb.
Oh, it's out of range for his tow cable.
This is a big time loss. And the other bomb
Now,
it hit something.
Now, the question is, will the AT-AT get up? Will he have to re-wrap?
No,
he still
he
gets
doesn't.
it.
But that is still a big time loss. That's like 20 seconds. How did he not hit that second bomb?
I think he knew he wasn't done wrapping in time, I think. So he like tried to like dodge it and just let go of the bomb.
Maybe. Whoa.
Alright, meanwhile, Justin now getting into his AT-AT wave. Will he get the RNG he needs? So desperately needs to claw back some time in this race. That is going to be...
I mean, it's fine, I guess. We don't know where the other one is.
The thing is, like, even with the... Because of the Jared, like, weird AT-AT bomb thing, that's fine. Let's see. Oh, I'm not liking this. Like, this is, I think, one of the worst... Yeah, it's all the way around here.
Yeah.
So, not the best. It might... Like, yeah, that's just not a very good spawn. I don't think he's going to be saving as much time as he wants to here.
Yeah, but he will save time, and that's what matters. Unless his last wave like throws. But... Well, good job from Justin grappling that ATS. He's gonna go throw it at the AT up there. Kodo's usually close to the bomb, but not gonna be a problem.
Yeah, he should actually be able to VSB these probe droids immediately after. So,
that is a clean clean Hoth, I guess, compared to Jared.
I mean, that is, what you expect from WIISUPER on Hoth Battle.
Yeah, and by the way, now we can see Vader has been updated.
Yeah. And I want you to look at that BPT difference right now. 31 seconds so far, because Justin has not split Hoth.
Yeah. So yeah, look right now, because once Justin splits Hoth, it's going to go up.
It's going to go up, but I think it's going to close the gap to the minute. I think, it's like...
I mean, it was a time save. It's not a good time save.
Yeah,
he should have done better.
That's like, yeah, it's not the best Hoth from Justin, but it still saved time.
Yeah, now you're into the 50-second territory. Now you're into the, every trick has to be good, not
I
disaster.
mean, it's a 46 second DPT difference. It's about the difference of the delta. Well, delta's a little bit bigger. So, clawing a little bit of time back.
I mean, this is the race we all wanted. This, Jared ahead by a little bit, Justin behind by a little bit, but by enough that it becomes competitive.
Right, and remember, once it's like 40 seconds, 30 seconds, then GTF becomes like a problem.
And when GTF becomes a problem, then GTF is a problem, and you have to get it. And we've seen what GTF can do. Very clean.
That is a first.
Jared.
Yeah, that's a first try clip there. Yeah, it does. Should be able to get it here.
All right.
We did see some wacky shenanigans on the button hill, actually, in the Jared versus Harasmi match.
We did that. Yeah, that is another big. I mean, you mess up button hill, and that's basically the whole league gone. So.
Well, it's depending on how you miss it, obviously.
How you miss it,
but so far, a decent echo base from Jared.
Justin going for boom skip now.
Yeah, he needs to get this. He's adjusting quite a bit at the last second. I don't like that.
Misses boom skip for the first try. Is he able to get it second try? Jared getting the buttons.
And the camera pan skip. This is not looking good for Justin.
Okay, gets its second try. That was really low. Gets its second try, but that's bad. That is going to be a pretty big time loss for Justin.
Yeah, this is not. Yeah, it's not what you want to see. It's gonna basically negate all of the Hoth battle save, and
And he still has, yeah.
And he's not even done with the level yet. No. So this now means it's down to Falcon Flight. I think Falcon Flight has to make up a minute, or like not a minute, but like 40 seconds, I think, or 30 seconds.
Yeah.
It's because this is not necessarily the best echo base.
This is not a good echo base from Justin.
In order for Justin, I think the Tide Turner will be possibly the worst boulder of all time from Jared. I think that
Justin.
This is fine.
Yeah, I mean that's what he wants.
But no camera pans.
No camera pans.
I think, yeah, there's nothing left for us to say really until the boulder happens.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
DV1?
Yes. So it's odd now because Justin, of course, has been known for doing fast DV1. Saves a tiny, tiny amount of time, like a couple of seconds, especially with the modern string. He doesn't do it anymore in races. Goes for panel fly instead. Here's the problem, though. I don't think right now the time difference is close enough that matters. I think the question is, does Jared make a mistake?
And still, by the way, like one of
yeah,
he lost everything
from Echo Base. Yeah,
from Hoffman.
Yeah. Like the problem is that fast DV1 it saves so little time. I think the only thing it would do is basically close the gap enough that Jared has to do GTF. Like, I think that's the only strategic consideration here of whether you do it or not. And remember, Justin has not practiced the skip probably. He's probably practicing panel fly, to be honest.
Yeah.
And it really is that 30-second difference. And at this point, I think Justin needs Jared to have to go to GTF.
Certainly, yeah. I mean, if there's no need for GTF, Jared is going to easily walk in with this. Because, again, a minute 15 is not the end of the world, but a minute 15 is bad, right? You don't want to be a minute 15 once you have lost the possible time losses, or the time save that you would get in Echo Base. Yeah, it's just, well, I don't know if there's anything to say until we get this boulder.
No, here it is. This is probably at this point the most critical point in the race. If Jared gets a good boulder here, then it's really looking bad for Justin.
Yeah, we're gonna get the rare non-moving boulder.
Yeah. And if you're a Justin fan, you are probably praying right now to see Jared have like a terrible boulder.
Okay, very fast boulder.
That is a fast boulder.
What is that? Very. This could be a good boulder for Jared.
Well, it depends.
Well, it's stopped turning in the right direction.
Yeah, so that's going to be one early hit here.
The one on the back misses.
I don't know. Those are all going to turn. That's a blank there, but that's a hit.
We are going to see the bottom. This is a very...
This is not...
No, never mind. I was going to say it's a very good boulder.
That hit. That's a really critical hit here, because that's going to let him pass.
Well, folks. Yeah, great boulder from Jared.
Well, that might be the death knell. It does not look like the boulder is on Justin's side today.
No, it is not.
That there were a couple of lucky hits there.
Yeah.
In that boulder. Like, I will say, like, it's not just like Jared got like an adequate boulder. There are some that is some surprising boulder hits, I think. Yeah. But with that, let's see whether Justin can somehow beat that boulder. And this is a good 2-target start for Justin here. Gonna have to wait for that target to come up in the front there. Does get that one, but that target is rotating behind. He's gonna need... Oh, no, that didn't hit, I don't think.
That is a... Actually, that
rotates
fine.
front, though. Like, the thing is, this is not a bad boulder from Justin either.
Well, if the last target shows up.
Yeah, the last target, it is a slow rotation back there. This is, I think, worse than Jared's by a little bit, but...
Not a ton.
Not a ton. But here's the problem. Justin needed to gain a ton of time from boulder. And it's just not happening, with that boulder.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, Dagobah. I mean, what is his exit now? It is a... Okay, it is a 1 minute 10 delta. 1 minute 10.
I mean...
That is not good. That is not good if you're Justin.
I mean, let's review the option. What is going on with Jared pushing up R2 on the stairs there?
Okay, yeah, weird time loss, but what can you do? Anyway, yeah, after whatever that was, yeah, options here. So,
let's say HUD skip miss, extremely unlikely. That's not going to happen. That would obviously put Justin very much back in the race.
Yeah.
CCT disaster for Jared.
CCT disaster would be bad.
Bestman disaster all depends on whether there's a disaster before, because if he just doesn't do GTF...
You can always have door clip problems, so,
Yeah, I mean, that's he's getting Dagobah button skip there, so no problem
First
there.
try, that is very good for Jared. That's going to be a big source of variability. Gone.
Yeah, but obviously he had some weird thing in the first room.
Apparently a 15-second time loss according to Anonymous, so we'll have to see.
I've never seen that. Like, something was off. Who knows? But otherwise, like, worst case, Justin gets like 20 seconds. Let's be generous here from this level.
It's not a lot if you're a minute 10 behind with only 4 levels left. 3 levels.
Yeah, I mean, let's say he takes a couple of deaths in this cave here. Like, Yeah, it's really hard to, you're doing the math and it's just not adding up.
Math is not adding up.
No. It's the thing is, I think CCT is just super momentum based, and Jared is just not.
He has a momentum. It's either the mental, he hasn't let the mental get to him, or his mental has just been good.
Yeah, I think it would be really different if Falcon Flight brought them within 30 seconds. I think if Jared saw that, had a bad boulder, we would be a different story. Like, Jared would definitely be on the ropes right now. But what we're seeing here is, I think, other than that weird, like, first room on Dagobah, we're just not, like, I don't think we're seeing, like, a Jared that is going to lose a minute in CCT.
We're not. No, we're not seeing that. Yeah, BBTs has still been a minute difference, and there's not that many minutes left to
Well, there's
to do.
There's 2 levels left.
Yeah. Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting Dagobah exit.
And honestly, we haven't been watching just almost the Cantina there.
Man, my heart skipped for a moment, Justin almost throwing the run.
Exiting Tomas Isley Cantina. That would have ended his chances in
Yeah.
a heartbeat, but honestly,
Justin with Yoda, I think slightly better Yoda movement, but not by any major amount. I think he's gonna save a little bit of time on this Dagobah.
I did not. I did not watch his start on Dagobah, so
It was fine. It was. I mean, he didn't get stuck on the ramp. And other than that, it was the same.
No, so maybe a couple of seconds here. Okay, so I think then the situation is just a minute.
Yeah.
In CCT.
Yeah, and I do think that there's an opportunity for Justin to get it to within GTF territory. That's what he wants.
Mm-hmm.
But
Or-
it's still iffy.
Or if Jared does what Hermazmi did and just goes for GTF.
I don't think he's gonna do that. Jared is the type of guy to be looking. He's analytical. He's thinking of all these options. He's gonna be looking and watching and seeing if there's a need to go for it.
Well, surely he has learned his lesson after seeing what happened in the semifinals.
I guess yeah, he's not gonna make the mistake that let him get here.
Exactly. Right. Yeah, does it make sense for Justin to do fast DP1? I don't know about that. Will he do it, actually? This is a really weird situation.
Yeah, I don't think the math is there. Because if he misses it once, his game is over. I think he has more chances of making the time back in best spin.
Yeah.
If needed,
than CCT.
than in CCT. And it's such a high risk. We'll see what this Dagobah exit is.
I don't know. I just don't see a huge time save here.
There is no time save.
Yeah. It's dead even again.
Yeah, this is really bad for Justin. This is terrible for Justin.
Because how much does Jared need to lose here? Like 40 seconds
Yeah.
in CCT?
He's not going to lose 40 seconds. I mean, I guess he could. But it, like, from what?
Like, I can't imagine 40 seconds here.
That's a good panel fly.
Oh, that's one option gone. Alright, there's like 3 places in this level, I think.
Yeah.
That you can have.
He gets the first one. Very good movement there also. Even gets a quick force at the end.
Alright, here's the second opportunity right here.
No R2 disabled, so that is another big thing.
Yeah, I mean, he's just locked in right now. I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
Will he miss this? He's buffering it. This is, yeah.
He gets it out of bounds. Gook!
Pops back in bounds.
Pops back in bounds. Pops back in bounds. Takes a moment to kind of like settle. I respect that. You can't be,
Well, the question
getting
is
too in your head here.
The question is, will it snowball? That's the question. Because in the last 2 levels, right, you make a mistake and you get flustered. The question is,
Oh my God, Jared, this is Justin cannot go for DV1. If he throws back going for DV1, I'm gonna be furious.
Yeah, I will be furious if he. We'll see it right here whether he's going for it.
super careful line, not clipping back in bounds. It's gonna.
But the
be
thing is, Jared still needs to miss DV3 a couple
still
times
needs to miss
to
DV3 a
lock
couple
this in.
times, yeah.
The question is, has Jared been flustered by those misses? Jared always goes for the riskier line there, misses it first.
DV3.
Yeah, that is the riskier line to do it on the left side. Does
He
get it
gets his
second
second
try. Yeah. I don't know if that's enough.
I think, unless Justin messes up, I think this is GTF territory.
So what? It's like two DVT misses and a DV3 miss?
2 DVT misses, and it was one of them was like a bad DVT.
Well, it was the pop and bounce, like all the way at the end. You have to read them.
Ooh, my God, Justin, it's terrifying me. Yeah, so that is gonna. I think that's GTF territory.
Yeah, and Zach does bring up the good thing. It's not like it's strictly 30 seconds. That's what GTF saves. That you're safe. It depends on how well your opening of best spin is. Because if you lose...
First try DV3 from Justin.
Yeah, first try DV3 from Justin. This is the best he can possibly play it here.
First try DV4 from Justin.
Yeah.
Well, I guess
Yeah.
DV4 from Justin.
This is the best that he can play right now. It is... Oh,
well, never mind.
Maybe not, but but like that is the CCT needed. The question is it enough? Is this close enough of a delta that Jared has to do GTF?
Let's see what the
It is a
delta
217 flat from Jared.
Man.
And what is that exit from Justin? We're for safe GTF. It's gonna be like in the 40-second like range. I would say, assuming like if you lose 10 seconds at the start.
42-second difference.
42 seconds.
That is like borderline GTF.
So I think for Justin to really make it close, Jared needs to get a bad opening of Bestman.
Yeah.
Like a bad Boba fight. That will solidify Jared going to GTF. But I think Jared's looking at the Delta right now, and I think he knows he needs to play a good opening to Bestman right now. "42 seconds is all that is separating these two runners, and potentially the...
Yeah, in a way, it's weird. It all comes down to door clip.
Door clip, the Boba fight.
Yeah. If he gets a good door clip, a good
Getting
Boba
the
fight,
helmet shot off in the... Which is very rare if you play that correctly, but...
Wow. What a way to end this race. 42 seconds. Again, Jared has a massive... 42 seconds here is huge. It is not the end of the race, though.
No, it is. It is just close enough that I would not bet on Jared like.
Yeah. It is all down to Boba fight. Gets one hard early. Gets the.
That is
a very, very quick Boba fight because of the Chewie transition cancel.
That is a good opening to Bestman. We're gonna see the decision right now, I guess. Will Jared go for GTF? And I think that is a setup for a Chewbacca door clip there.
Misses it first try.
That is probably the sign that he's gonna go
Misses
for
it second try because of the
civilian.
Okay, he has to reset. Okay, that is not a good door clip. That is a decent time loss because of the civilian. This must go to GTF.
Well, he could just not choose to go to GTF, but that wasn't necessarily a very good door clip, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Justin now, also getting a very good Boba fight.
So, yeah, here it is. Will Jared do it? He does not.
He's not going for GTF?
He is not. He's done the mental math there. He thinks he can get away with not doing GTF. The question is...
Justin got a better door clip.
The question is, will this decision come back to bite him? Will Jared get a good end platform? He cannot go by with like a terrible end platform.
Justin takes a death. A bad end platform. We're gonna see surfs.
Yeah.
We're gonna see the fountain.
Also, box clip is the other possibility for Jared to potentially lose this.
I'm on the edge of my seat here. Justin
I think,
setting up for... He knows he has to go for GTF.
Well, obviously he has to go for GTF. He is behind. But Jared, I think he thinks he can win. I think Jared is in a very good position here. He just needs to not have a disaster on the end platform.
Justin misses it first try, going with Leia.
Yeah, I think if Jared just does the end platform here, I think this is just over.
Justin gets it second try, gets the respawn. He's gonna cut it close, I think.
He can't do like a super risky line with this.
He's not doing any harass me strats.
No.
He does the safest line of all time.
Well, he doesn't have Lando.
Yeah. Okay. This is possible for Justin, but you want to be Jared here.
I think Jared needs like a disaster on the M platform. I think.
Leia, what are you up to? Okay, there we go.
I just don't think it's looking very good for Justin right now. Like Jared would need an unbelievably bad end platform. I think.
Good surf from Jared. Terrible surf from Jared.
Like end platform, there is variance. I don't think it's that big of a variance enough to swing it for Justin here.
No, yeah, I agree.
This might be a race within like
10 seconds.
Yeah, it's really close, I think. All right, here it is. Who would have thought we would be seeing the classic end platform in Ladder League? I certainly didn't expect this in finals here. Is Jared in practice on the M platform here? This is not bad enough of an M platform, I think, for Justin to take this. No, this is a very decent M platform for Jared here, and that is probably going to be the race in Jared's favor. Let's see what the final time is. It is going to be a 2:22.22.
Incredible performance. Justin, of course, going for GTF.
Finishing almost like directly after. How close is this race?
Folks, 2:22.37. The Justin GTF miss plus some minor optimizations. He loses the race by 15 seconds. Unbelievable ending.
And just think, 15 seconds if Jared just got a slightly worse boulder.
Slightly worse boulder? The boulder does this?
If Justin got a slightly better echo base, this would have swung the other way.
Yeah.
And that means, I guess, we now need to congratulate Jared as your 2025 Ladder League champion.
Unbelievably impressive performance from Jared. I mean, let's check out the final results. Hopefully we did not get any, there we go. Jared, WIISUPER. I mean, this tells a whole story. Jared just takes the lead, maintains it. Justin does claw back some time as we expected. Not nearly enough.
But way closer than I expected, to be honest.
Way closer than I expected. Jared is able to maintain the mental throughout an incredibly tough run, able to clutch it out, win by 15 seconds.
Yeah, and with
one of his best performances also of the event.
Yeah, this is a consider that there's a pod race disaster at the start of this race, and that this is a 2:21.29.
Yeah,
and that will tell you how good the rest of the run is relatively.
Yeah.
Like, with that, Jared is getting promoted. He's getting promoted to the Hall of Fame, now joining the leagues of other champions of TCS tournaments here.
Yeah, let's get Jared in. Let's see what he has to say.
Yeah.
Here we have Jared, if you're available right now to chat. Jared, how you feeling?
I feel great. I feel relieved. I feel satisfied. I may not have played exactly my best, but I played good enough, and I feel like that was the theme of this whole tournament. And the pod race mistake happened. I kind of thought it was over, and I didn't check the stream again until after episode 1, and I realized that I was still winning by 4 seconds. So I was like, okay, we're back. And then after that, I kind of just cruised afterwards. I really just kind of tried to focus on my gameplay because I knew Justin was going to match me blow for blow. So I kind of just kept my foot forward, kept focusing on my gameplay. I kind of got screwed over by RNG in episode 6. But other than that, I feel very satisfied with the way I played, and it was just good enough in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was incredible. Tell me, what was your mentality going into Bespin? Because I think we were all pretty surprised by your lack of GTF. Obviously, it ended up paying off, but
So I mean, I was obviously watching the splits because you kind of have to. I mean, given what happened in the last race, you kind of have to watch the splits before Bespin just to see what the situation is. And I didn't see the 42 seconds gap until like right before I was about to start gameplay. And so I saw the 42 seconds, and I was like, I'm gonna see how this goes in room one. And I kind of got screwed over by the RNG at the very start, right on door clip. And so I was kind of worried that I was going to have to do it. But then I saw the delta, and I saw that I was like a 241 room one. And I was like, I can just cruise to the end as long as I don't really make any mistakes. And so I took box clip super safe. And it was just good enough, 15 seconds in the end, which, I mean, who knows what would have happened if I went for GTF. But I trust in my gameplay. I feel pretty confident with the Bespin ending. The end platform was a little rough, but other than that, I feel like I played pretty well and was able to close out the victory.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta ask, now that you have won a tournament, Jared, what are your current goals with this game now, I guess? What are any exciting plans to announce, perhaps, with this game or something else?
It's no, actually, quite the opposite. So I'm going to be a senior in college next year, and it's going to be, like, the most important year of my life. And I realized kind of this summer, in the last few weeks, that my future is going to be held without TCS speedrunning at the forefront. It's been such a core part of my life for the last 5.5 years. I've made so many great memories. I've made, some great achievements. I never would have thought I would have been able to achieve a world record in this category, especially when I first joined as a 15-year-old kid. But here I am now. I feel very, very proud and satisfied with what I've given to this game. And I feel like now is an appropriate time to walk away and move on to the next chapter of my life.
Yeah, certainly. And I mean, there is no possible better way to to close out that chapter of your life than with
I know a
winning
lot of
such a
people are going to
competitive
be,
race.
saying that like, oh, I've tried to retire before. I'm not officially retiring. I know that I'm going to have the passion and the spark, the motivation to come back at some point. I mean, we've seen it with Zach and with Evan. So I'm not officially calling it quits. I just am I am content with going in an indefinite amount of time without TCS speedrunning at the forefront. Like I said, it's kind of been my lifeline in the last 5.5 years. I've changed so much as a person throughout the last 5 years, but for some reason I always came back to speedrunning this little kid's game from 2007 that I played as a little kid, and I never would have imagined where it would have taken me. I love the community. It'll always be my home. I don't plan on going anywhere there. I'll still plan on being active in the Discord and supporting everyone in the streams. It's just that I feel satisfied enough to where I can move on from playing this category.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for coming on. Congratulations again on everything. And with that, I think it is time to close out Legothon.
Oh, Ladder League.
Ladder League 2025.
Yeah.
What a truly amazing event. What a fascinating thing to run.
All right.
I want to thank everyone for being here, and just want to remind everybody, this is not it for LEGO Speedruns. Coming up next, we have Legothon starting July 18th. 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Time. It's going to go on through Sunday, so please be on. You'll see some of your favorite runners.
Yeah. And with that, let's close this out with a video from Zach.
Yeah. Thank you all. Bye.